incredibly good.
That's all right, mama. That's all right with you. That's all right, mama. And just in the way you do. That's all right. That's all right. That's all right now, mama. Anyway, do. Come on, now. Can you feel the pain? Into him now. About this new world. Ain't no train. Papa's got a brand new eye. Purple haze in my brain. Lately things just don't seem the same. I can't find it, and I don't know why.
What is going on, Don't Unfriend Me Nation? Matt Spear in the house along with Leeroy, and in the green room is Damani Felder. Got some information to share with you tonight. We got a lot of stuff to cover, some good stuff. I am wearing my Zero White Guilt t-shirt. I have challenged Damani to pick up a shirt from the store, and I'm thinking that this one might be the one. My Zero White Guilt shirt. It's I think Damani could rock it. I think he could roll it, and he should, because it would be fantastic. Let's get some lights. Ah, mucho bettero. Look at that talent.
And
Hope
Matt
you guys-
said, let there
go-
be light.
No, let's not be sacrilegious. I'm trying. I've been going to church. I've been a good boy. Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me show. We have a phone line in here. You might notice there's some changes to the art. We're going to talk about that. We're going to take about 5 minutes. We know we're late. There was a huge storm. Damani was dragging ass. The whole thing is just, what do you expect? We're a equal opportunity DEI type podcast, and sometimes, Leeroy drags us down. Okay?
I do.
Yes, you do. All right, everybody, take a listen. Another 40 seconds of Still Point, and we will be right back. Hey, by the way, Still Point is going to be pulling all their stuff off Spotify and everything, and they're going to start selling stuff directly off their website, and we're going to be carrying their music. They're just sick and tired of the music industry game, and I gotta love them for it. So we'll be giving you details on that. Maybe even buy 1 or 2 of their CDs and get yourself a free shirt, something like that. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. Here we go.
Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts we true. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad.
What's going on, everybody? Matthew
What?
Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show.
What about it?
I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are
Oh,
back
I don't know,
in
maybe.
stock. It's a 3-book collection.
The neighbors brought us-
leather-bound by
Okay.
Arcadia Publishing. Starts out
You
with
can
the Bill
eat
of
it. I don't
Rights,
need any.
and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up
My
and
wife.
reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence.
Folks,
with-
books went out today. I've got 2 more that are already pre-sold. They are shipped, and we have 1 left. That's it. First come, first serve. Go to the website, pick it up. It's yours. I'm shipping it tomorrow. We have already shipped out all of them, and we will see if we have a second run. Or, God, this will be like our 12th printing of these. So they're all sold out. So if you want to go get that one, now's the time. I don't know if we're going to have them back before Christmas.
Visions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumbshow.com/books. Thanks so much.
Howdy, y'all. This is Damani Felder. These are perilous times in American history.
I gotta fix
and
the
now we'll
URL.
never
Sorry,
leave
D.
individuals
I'll
who are
fix it.
willing to wage war on the ideological battlefield with like-minded individuals. And I can think of no better place to start than my friends at the Don't Unfriend Me show. So thank you for being here and enjoy the show.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Hey down there, Leeroy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
You almost looked the right way that time. That was good. Nice special effects. George Lucas does all of our stuff. I got it.
It's ILM.
It's we own it. Don't Unfriend Me show's been growing, folks. It's not our fault. Hey, say hi to Damani real quick while he's sitting in the green room. Damani, Leeroy,
What's going on, D?
myself.
What's up, Leroy? Good to
How
see you,
doing?
brother.
It's good to see you, man.
What's up, D?
I'm
It's
sharing the live right now, so we might get some good viewers in. Yeah.
Roger, are you streaming it?
Oh,
When
I'm
you
just
come
pressing
when
this
you
shit.
when you come on, we should do that because we now have the capability, which would be kind of cool. I got to read something real quick, and I'm sorry I got to do this, but I got to read this. So I'm gonna tell my boys hang tight for a second while I do this, and we'll be right back with the show. All right. So you may notice that there might be a banner or two missing on our display. And because something that's been here for the last, 16 months, which is the Wimkin logo, and it's no longer on our show. And I want to address it because there's been some questions, and I feel it's necessary. Nobody is asking me to do this. Nobody has told me to do this. I'm doing this because I've been transparent with you guys for 5 years, whether when we're raising money or when we're doing the build or, whatever. It's always as honest as I can be. So I'm going to read this. And then we're going to move on. Approximately 3 years ago, we were approached with the opportunity to join the Wimkin network, and we declined. We just weren't comfortable yet. We didn't want to get that big, and we've kind of slowed our roll a little bit. And we didn't feel that we could provide a quality of content that deserved to be sponsored. And then plus, we wanted to vet and search through a good partner for our show. For the past 16 months, Wimkin has served as a sponsor, providing monthly payments for us to broadcast on their platform and to assist in expanding our social media presence within their network. And like most, they were considered a gold sponsor, number one sponsor. We put them in the corner and talk about them constantly and try to bring the networks closer together. On occasion, we also participated in the fentanyl awareness episodes where we shared personal experiences related to struggles with pharmaceutical addiction following multiple surgeries. For myself, I would share these stories and anecdotal stories. These appearances were made voluntarily to demonstrate support for raising awareness. At no time were any of those stories or content paid for, nor have our opinions ever been influenced by external parties. Our voice has always will, and has remained independent and authentic. At this time, we have formally separated our relationship with Wimkin and Jason Shepard, CEO. While we wish them well in their future endeavors, our decision is based on a current business conflict in which we do not wish to be involved with, as well as past history recently discovered that we are not comfortable being associated with any longer. Our commitment remains to our audiences, to transparency, and to producing content that is genuine and free of outside influence, and we will continue to do so. That's pretty much all I'm going to say about that. You have the internet. You can figure out the rest. But we will be broadcasting to Wimkin until the 5 more days, and we'll be finishing up on the 30th of September. So this will be one of our final broadcasts, and you guys can come see us on Rumble or Facebook or wherever else. But we have fans over there, and we appreciate you, and we care about you, and we hope that you find us over here. And that's pretty much the end of that. So there it is. If you have any questions, I'm more than transparent and happy to talk about it. But right now I've got something more pressing and more important, which is Damani Felder is in the house, a good friend of the show. Damani, what is going on, my man?
You know, I'm not that special. You know that. You always talk me up and give me a fantastic intro. But good to be here again, Matt. Good to see you again, Leeroy. Looking forward to a great conversation this evening. There is so much to talk about. I know that the media cycle never stops, but it feels like it's been accelerating most recently, and we've got plenty of things we got to talk about. So
we do. We got a lot. You are on the precipice of 600,000, if I'm not mistaken. 600,000 followers on Facebook, and I remember when I first met you, and I saw 280, and I was like, we'll never do that. I mean, that's right. 280. Right. Damani Felder.
600,000? That's huge. And yes, she did say that.
Yeah, and I was like, he's so big and girthy and veiny.
Okay,
so
right,
I'm
almost there.
Can you say it slower? So I was just like awestruck, and then like an injection, man. I mean, Damani's been working with us and helping us, and we're seeing his site really grow, and we've been crushing it too. 65,000 in like the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, which is incredible. So how does that feel, man? Getting to 500,000 so quickly, and then right back at 600,000.
You know, I'll say it's a blessing. It's something that I also never thought I would see happen. One of the things that I think that a lot of people don't realize is just how much work goes in behind the scenes. And there's plenty of opportunities and moments where individuals think, is it worth it to keep doing what I'm doing? The answer is always yes, but there's some days that are more difficult than others. You know, to see y'all grow the way you have, it's good to see new voices rising to the fore. I think that we need to have much more broad conversations from a broad variety of sources. I do think on the right side of the aisle, all too often, we've seen, you know, the same sort of voices saying the same kinds of things. And there's one thing that I know, it's that we're going to need new, fresh leadership moving forward into the future. I think that individuals like you are going to be well poised to step into that role when the time is right. And I'm just grateful to be along with you in that effort. You know, hitting 600,000 so fast, I will say it is a little bittersweet, because a lot of us are aware that a lot of individuals are still mourning the loss of Charlie Kirk, and those voices that we have lost, I think they demand that other individuals step up. And I'm just grateful that we both stepped up together, and that God is blessing the diligence of our efforts, diligence of our hands, but there's still much more work to do. So here's to the next 100,000, 200,000, up to 1 million. We have plenty of minds to change, hopefully, plenty of truth to speak, and it's going to take individuals like you and me to make that happen. So
and I can't thank you enough. And like with Leeroy, Amy, and now Olivia, it's growing, and there's more people who are coming into that network, and Ryan Samuels, and then we get people like Tonto and the connections that you have, and then that world becomes a lot smaller than it is. I want to be clear with your audience is that I have a sense of humor. And it's not always the cleanest, but I will tell you, I've been going to church, and that is new for me. And Damani has a big part to play in that too, in his beliefs. So you might have to cope with a little bit of humor. We are sarcastic. And if we offend, that's why it says don't unfriend me. Okay. So we'll try to be good tonight. So here's, go ahead, Leroy.
On the heels of that, I would say that if anything, the news in the last couple of cycles, everything with Tyler Robinson has just kind of shown everyone that there are voices out there. There are people out there, groups who don't want to hear what we have to say. And as much as it sucks to hear that, you know, one of Charlie Kirk's legacies was the fact that he always spoke about ideas. And that's what we do. That's what we like to come to the table to throw back and forth. Hey, what do you think about this? Is this factually true? That kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
I to Damani's point, I think more people talking about ideas is a good thing. And if that happens to be Charlie Kirk's legacy, is that more people do it, then I'm on board.
One of my best
You know, I'm
friends.
so happy you said that.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
you go. Take it.
No, I was going to say, I'm so happy you said that, Leroy, because funny enough, earlier today, actually out here in a suburb of Houston, Texas, I saw a group of individuals who were very vocal Democrats. And you know what I did? I always travel around with my microphone and whatnot. I strapped it up and I got out there and I started asking questions and we had some dialogues. I'm not going to lie, some of the funniest things I've heard in my life from the Kingwood Democrats. But just look for that video coming soon because
Okay.
I promise you, these people are wild. But in the spirit of Charlie Kirk, I saw them and I could not pass up the opportunity to actually try to speak to them and understand where they were coming from. And let's just say they didn't surprise me at all. So I'll leave it at that.
Shocker.
It's funny you say that, how everything comes full circle. So one of my best friends that I've ever made in my life is Leeroy, who I had no idea who he was outside of a digital presence, and until just a few months back when we did the studio. And then same with Damani, but without Leeroy, Damani wouldn't be here because Leeroy made this connection and reached out to Dee and Trey, and then they came on.
It was Trey, yeah.
Well, Trey came on, right? Because Damani, he was. I mean, he's a celebrity. We have to,
He is.
see the irony.
Oh, he is. I want your autograph.
I am nothing special. I am nothing special.
Yeah, we felt it. No, I'm kidding. No. So, and it was great. Like I've told this story before, and he got to see my emotional side as the few episodes ago talking about it. But anyway, it's really great to see. Listen, people, everyone wants to talk about Wimkin. Wimkin is its own business and its own entity. You can Google, you can figure. I am not going to speak ill of any human being because I'm not in their shoes. I have left, and I have left because the principles of my show do not line up with Wimkin anymore, and I've moved on. I need you to do the same. And if you want to do the same, that's your choice. I would encourage you to discover yourself, like I've worked with you for the last 5 years, to use your skill set to uncover the truth. And when you find it, you have to decide what's best for you. I'm not going to tell you either way. So that's it. That's the last time I'm going to talk about it. Okay. You want to talk to me, you can call in and we'll talk about it. Or if you want to go ahead and send me a message or something, we can talk about it. But for now on, we got some other stuff that's more important.
There's so much more in the news. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just a lot. Let's, first of all, we have not had a chance with Charlie, and I know you haven't had a chance to address the audience. Leeroy and I have had a chance. Is anything kind you want to say on that, or have a chance to say on that? I want to give it to you. And considering that everyone's seen the video of you, and I played that night, but I would love to give you a chance to say something if you would like to for a couple.
Sure. Words will never fully memorialize Charlie's legacy. I do think that he spurred an entire generation to action. It still feels surreal to me to know that he's no longer with us. What's unfortunate is I think in the pit of our stomachs, a lot of individuals just based on the comportment of the average leftist over the past decade, I do think that it's unfortunate that the sick part of it is many individuals knew that this sort of thing very well could happen, which goes to show just how unhinged the left has become.
Yeah.
To see that affect one of our figureheads, our leaders, who make no mistake, he was not a politician. He had no ability to influence certain laws. He was just speaking his mind and encouraging other individuals to prove him wrong. And the left, they took that page out of that Marxist fascist playbook and shut an individual down because they were not able to actually beat him with their mind, with their words, with their logic, because they have none. So if anything, as jarring as it was, and as it still is in some cases, to reconcile with the reality that Charlie Kirk is gone, to see individuals who are now mocking even his legacy, individuals who are mocking his wife as she's going through one of the most emotionally exhausting, difficult things to ever even have to process, and do it with the entire world watching you. That takes a level of grace that most of us don't have. To see her actually say that she forgave her husband's assassin, I'm not that kind of person yet. I'll be honest with you. I'm a Christian. I believe in God, but there's sometimes I feel like I'm out of cheeks to turn. But she set an example for the rest of us. And if anything, I came away from that memorial service, because we watched the entire thing live. I came away from that more invigorated to say that his work cannot be in vain. I even talked to my wife and I said, if there's levels that we can actually ramp up and even be more bold, we're going to have to do it now because for one reason or another, the left thinks that their behavior is appropriate. They think that they would be cheered if they continue to act in this way. If there's
Right.
anything, we need to have a million more Charlie Kirks rise up. If I'm just one extra voice, then that's one extra voice is being put to good use. But we can't sit here and allow this to continue. We need action because if we don't have transformative change come as a result of this tragedy, then we are effectively ceding ground to the left. They think that if they simply act this way, we'll be too afraid to even and go out and try to even change minds anymore. Or they got another thing coming. Like, if anything, the time is now. We have to metaphorically and literally pick up our own microphones. And I want to say this to people out there who are watching, because people sometimes get this idea, oh, well, you're a large influencer or you have this many followers. It does not matter. At one
No.
point in time, every single one of us had zero.
Yes.
And we just started. We didn't know if it was ever going to grow, if it were going to fall off a cliff, but we knew one thing: it was worth speaking, if even it changed one person's mind. And if more people have that mentality and don't allow the bright lights, if you will, to keep you away from stepping into this arena, we need more and more individuals. Because what would happen one day if the Don't Unfriend Me show goes by the wayside, something terrible happens to them or to me? Then I would hope that there's one thing people would do is my voice is silenced one day, there need to be at least 100 more that rise up. And that's going to become hopefully something that we continue to see happen. These seeds of true liberty, true freedom of speech continue to be planted and be watered and actually bear fruit in the future.
It's really interesting you say that, because we had that discussion, and Olivia and I had to sit down with the lawyers because, I mean, you see huge podcasters and their estates and their networks are in the tens to hundreds of millions of dollars, but Damani's name's worth something, and it's got a price tag. So does mine, and there's value to this thing, and it's not like there hasn't been interest for people to come in and say, well, what does that look like? But what I told Olivia, I said, if anything ever happens to me, you don't sell this, and what you do is you go get T.S. Dixon, you get Leeroy, and you get Damani, and you give it to them. And you go to them and say, you give me 60% and you guys take 40% and grow it as big as you want. Because those three guys will take this thing into superstardom. Those three guys will crush this thing and they'll be amazing. And that's in the will. So I just, I'm always thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to provide for my family? And Charlie left an empire, He left an empire, and for anyone to try to discredit that or destroy it, it's the same exact thing when he was alive. And I'm not surprised by the way the left treat him, because that's what they did when he was alive. And why would they all of a sudden have the scruples and the morals to all of a sudden fly right? Those days are long gone. Like everyone says, well, we need another 9/11 and that'll bring us together. No, nothing will bring us together anymore. It's just not going to happen because we're not interested in that. We don't think about that. We're too far drawn from the days where we remember what that was like. And there are two generations now who pretty much have been living in this pit of negativity. Leeroy, go ahead.
There are too many people who are willing to resort to violence in order to shut down political discussion or free speech. And it's not like we don't have an entire constitution or bill of rights to tell people that, yes, you have this right. But when you acknowledge the fact that you're too afraid to talk about things by using violence to shut down your enemy, then I think the next big question needs to be is, what are you afraid of? Right? Why would you do that? What are you afraid of? That people are going to get ideas, that people are going to embrace their liberties? Yeah. So this was a turning point that I'm not sure, intended pun, that I'm not sure. It's almost a watershed moment. I don't know that we're ever going to, people are going to continually look at violence now and say, don't do, like, you're doing it because you're afraid. You're doing it because you can't win against an intellectual argument that speaks to liberties for everyone.
I'm afraid people just can't be wrong anymore.
I'll jump off of what you just said, Leroy, which that was brilliantly said, and underscore the fact that the left has almost painted us. I'm not even say almost. They intentionally painted us into a corner on the right. by continuing to be increasingly violent, and while also simultaneously branding the right as the fascist, the violent party, the
Yeah, that's not
Nazis, the
true.
this, the that, right? And we all know that's not true, of course. But the insidious nature of what they've done is they've essentially pushed us and pushed us and pushed us, and at this point, even gone far over the line. And then, but at the minute if someone ever did choose to actually retaliate in the manner in which they treat us, then they'd be the first ones to use that as
Yep.
justification for all of the false branding they've done on us for the last 10 years. So it goes to show you they played this out for a long time. Of course, this is George Soros and
Yeah.
company, essentially, and they've worked this master playbook, if you will, and they've rolled it out in a manner in which it almost forces you into a level of subservience that we cannot allow to give them. Because if we give them that subservience and
Exactly.
they truly have won, I refuse to give them that victory.
Folks, I just linked Damani's Facebook. If you have not been over there, please go to it. So this is something, this show is a little different. Usually we joke around a little bit and stuff, but we're going to get in more of some detail here tonight. And this is fun for Damani because he doesn't get to see us, well, at least me, too serious. But I was thinking about the assassinations, and what Leeroy and I can tell you is that when people say there are no coincidences, without practical application of deductive reasoning and logic, that's just a cop-out. That's just people very, very quickly and easily just pulling the Pavlov's dog mechanism so people ring the bell, right? Oh, yeah, it's a conspiracy. But there are no coincidences once you use deductive reasoning. And once you use that logical deduction, that's when Occam's razor kicks in. And I want to tell you, there's two things inside the assassination that just took place. And my allergies are killing me. I'm not leaking. I'm scratching and itching. It's literally on fire. I feel like I just went to fire ants on a hill. When we take a look at this assassination, can you boys tell me two things that have in common from Charlie Kirk's assassination and what just happened with ICE? Can you pick out the easy two things that are very similar in this in these shootings? Anything you can think comment on? Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
D.
Well, you have the obvious messages that are callbacks to liberal radicalization.
Yes,
And then
correct.
you have the young, I would argue you can say you have the young white or even white adjacent liberal male.
Yep.
Who I will even go out on a limb here and also say this. Yes, they are the white liberal men, but also they are white men. And that has been the target demographic that the left has attacked for so long. So they've attacked these individuals. They've essentially stripped them of their agency, any sort of aspiration whatsoever. And then they've gone a step further to try to encourage them to first hate themselves, hate the way God made them, and then try to enact some sort of violent, malevolent revenge against the very individuals who are trying to tell them that they can be free, should be free, and have freedom in the Lord Jesus Christ, and have freedom in finding their own true voices, and have freedom in not being a slave to a system that is built to destroy you, to break you down, or psychologically manipulate you. And those are the individuals they now have radicalized. So it almost feels like it's been a powder keg of sorts.
Mhm.
They've been building this up, whipping it up, and they're like, eventually, someone's going to take this bait. Someone's going to take it. They're going to take the fall, essentially. I mean, we saw a preview of this, last year? You had Luigi Mangione, right? And we saw what they did to put him on a pedestal, right? We saw how they acted when Trump almost met the same fate Charlie Kirk did, right? So the fact that they acted the way they did is not surprising, but they've mobilized effectively. They've radicalized a particular demographic, and they've mobilized them against their own against their own best interest. And it's truly the most frightening thing to see how well they've done it and how methodically they've done it for so long. It has been a playbook, and it's no secret and no accident why it's all coming to fore now, because I want people to think about this. What is going to happen after 2028?
Right.
All of this anger, all this vitriol, they've essentially just been gifted this eternal punching bag in Trump, right? So when Trump goes, then what happens? Was it ever really about Trump? Anyone who's thinking knows that answer is no, because it's always been just about those ideals that make America great. Trump is just the main figurehead of this movement. The same vitriol will be applied to you, to me, to JD Vance, to anyone else who steps into Trump's shoes after he's gone, because it was never about Trump. And people don't even realize that the reason many of these individuals have a voice whatsoever in media or in the political commentary arena is because of Trump. But they want to act like they hate him so much when he literally is the only reason many of them are relevant whatsoever. So I'll yield back because I could talk all day about this, but those are some of my preliminary thoughts.
Listen, how dare you come to a talk show and talk? Seriously. I mean, have some
Why would you
tact.
do that? The two biggest commonalities that I could think of is that the dude put inscriptions on the bullets, anti-ice, inscribed like something on the shell casings. I don't know what it was. And I don't, I was at work when all of this happened, so I have very limited exposure to this. But I guess Fox 4 out of Dallas had also reported that the shooter, Joshua John, Jahn, wanted to quote unquote cause terror. And so again, think of the leftist playbook. I think of revolutionary France when Bertrand had said, let's make terror the order of the day. It's a movement, and they've started it, and there's no way that I can think of for them to put the brakes on. I don't know. This whole thing.
So it's a really, it's interesting. So as I suspected, there's a couple things that if we dig a little bit deeper, those commonalities are there, right? We understand it's a young man. We understand around the same age. We understand that their parents were both from two different things, but not apolitical. They were fairly political families. On one side was very conservative and repudiated that. And then you've got the other side, which is very liberal. Sister was a Beto O'Rourke supporter. He wore a communist CSA shirt. So once again, but in this case, mother and family were extremely super left. And he obviously didn't repudiate those political ideologies and absorbed them, and still came to the same conclusion, which is, I want to go kill people. Interesting when you think about that. Now, so how do you get there, right? So how do we get there with two different political ideologies with the same exact MO, right? So now that's the first nugget. We need to take that, put that on the shelf. Second thing we should take on is that they were both Furbies, right? We know this because of some of his writings. We know social media says that. I've got some photographs I can show you of that, of both shooters, and had more than likely what we're suspecting at this point is trans partners or gay partners. So we can put that on the shelf. You've got both firing from elevated positions, which are on rooftops, corner rooftops, with a downward trajectory, which is a predominantly successful, advantageous spot to snipe from, because it's not only a offensive location, but it's a defensive location because of the angle of fire.
Right.
So now you have to also consider something that people haven't talked about. And I wrote a letter to the FBI today, and not because the FBI needs me, but I see things that other people don't. And it's about high time that if I see things that I don't think they're making connections on, if you take all of those things, but now you take this is 2 Mauser rifles, one that was converted from an 8mm and turned into a 30-06, which is a German-style weapon from World War II. And then you have this one, which is a 98K Mauser, 8mm unconverted. You have 2 very rare, when it comes to the average modern-day sportsman, a collector, sure, a World War II enthusiast. I mean, hell, I've got an M1 carbine and I've got an M1 Garand right up there. But the interesting thing is that those 2 rifles, although extremely popular, and there are hundreds of thousands of these things all over, it's not your everyday weapon system that you would anticipate. Anyone from an assassination, sure, maybe okay. But to shoot up a van, besides for penetration power, it's 5-round clip. It's not easy to navigate, and a novice would struggle under high tense situations to reload and re-engage its target acquisition. So now that we've covered all that,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Joshua Johns that was a Mauser as well.
Yeah, it has to be a Mauser. Well, let me tell you how I know it's a Mauser. One is because I've got the clips right here. So and I can show you some of the photographs, but it can only be one thing. So what I did is I took the photographs. I broke. You know what I did. I mean, you do it for a living too. So I just took the photographs. I broke it down, and I used points of reference, which is just to look at standard gravel and paint lines, which you can see here, to give myself some perspective of how large these rounds might be. And plus, I know 3 major rifles in this World War II model that would take these rounds in these type of clips. There's the Arasaka, there's the Magant, and then the Mauser that take these 5. Others take 7, others take more than that, an M1, which is expanded side-by-side stack. So that would only leave us to 3 rifles that it could be, and there's 7.62, and then there's the 8mm, which is 7.92 respectively. So what I did is I measured the paint lines, got myself essentially an ability to protract the size of the lines and then compare it to the measurement of the round. And lo and behold, they haven't said what it is, but I would put pretty much my entire savings on that it's a Mauser.
So basically you're just showing off your expertise and your brilliance.
Yes.
He's got a big brain.
I'm good at what I do.
It's
well done.
It's huge. It's
So
the biggest brain.
So now that we've
That I can tell
established,
you.
now that we've established that, that's huge. So now we go, well, where do you get that information? Where do you get the Furby information? Where do you get the elevated position information? Is it from Call of Duty? But now you got to start asking penetration power. Now you got to talk about the ages. Now you got to talk about what they have in common, because there are no coincidences in this. When you look at these two people, there were too many similarities, which leads me to believe that there is, I'm almost done. If you go to the Mojahedin and you look, there was a Mojahedin terror book, which was done out of Iran. If you look at the Anarchist Cookbook, also both taken off the shelf, will teach you how to make things like napalm out of a light bulb and some orange juice and some other stuff that I won't talk about. But there's ways to make pressure cooking bombs. All this stuff is in there, and they banned it. But there were militant groups that used this against the United States throughout the 50s all the way up into the 90s. Even the Boston Marathon bombers used the Anarchist Cookbook for the pressure cook bomb. And we've isolated these and removed them from general publication and distribution. But to me, this has all the signs of a coordinated, somewhat of like a how-to playbook that is now in circulation, and the FBI needs to be aware. Because if the third one is very similar to this and has 2 or 3 of those commonalities, then you have a pattern. And if you have a pattern, then you have probably payroll, and you have someone disseminating and distributing this, and you have chat rooms that are creating this terror network that has been leashed on America. And those signs, they scare me just a little bit.
I don't know enough about what happened with the ICE shooting. I just pulled up the name, and Matt's pretty good at digging up the forensics, but I didn't know the rest of that. And if there is some sort of coordinated attack, that should scare everyone, which is, again, another reason why we need to, what do we say the definition of terrorism is? The unlawful use of violence or the threat of violence. I mean, if the intended effect is fear, congratulations. I'm sure there's a huge percentage of people that feel it.
Damani, I'm going to go right back to you, but I've got you, salivating and marinating a little bit. So now can I just put the...
I can see it too.
Yeah, can you see? I'm going to drop the hammer now, because here it comes. Thanks, I know you can see it.
Come on.
Woof. They both used tracking app, and they both had access to it for tracking ICE agents. Both of them. So Charlie Kirk's assassination and this one. So now you've got 2 pieces of software that they both had on their phones. So you're seeing patterns of either these 2 guys knew each other or they knew someone similarly. And I think you're going to hear something soon. Listen, that's just my gut. I don't have any inside track. I've talked to the marshals. I've talked to friends in FBI, and they're tighter than a drum. But I'm telling you, I think there's something bigger here, and I think this is the new. I think Charlie Kirk kicked off the new type of school shootings. Instead of, I think you're still going to see schools, but I think now targeting political opponents is going to be open season, and that scares the living crap out of me. Damani, you want to wrap us up till we move on?
It should scare you, but it shouldn't surprise you.
Right.
The fact, let's put it this way: the notion that any entity, be that foreign or domestic, could engage in a targeted campaign of one, mental manipulation, and two, radicalization, is not beyond the pale. If people understand the lengths the government has gone to, even in the not so distant past, in order to carry out projects like not just Project Mockingbird, but if you look at back at things like
Yes.
MK Ultra,
Yes.
and many other of those governmental organizations or undertakings that in some cases were never even officially terminated, then it's not too far of a leap to say maybe there's something else going on, something incredibly sordid that if it ever was unearthed, would literally shake the foundations of not just America, but the entire world. That is well within the realm of possibility. And for those out there who would question it, I would just encourage you to know that even questioning these official narratives in many cases gets you branded as what instantly?
Yeah.
A conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. Yeah.
That term
Yeah.
itself was something that was used against individuals who were on the right track in the
Correct.
past.
Correct.
And that was the only moniker that could be used to discredit them. But the fact of the matter is, the more you lean into it, like that's one of the reasons why I even admired Charlie Kirk, was that he was able to even lean into the derision. You know, the South Park episode. You know what? I'm going to lean into it. You want to call me, a conspiracy theorist? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm still right. It doesn't change the fact that I'm right.
Right.
The minute
Yeah.
you strip a term of its destructive power against you is the minute you begin to make actual positive headway.
Right.
So I think we're gonna. What I'm hopeful is we'll finally have a real, true, full expose. Will it ever happen? I can't say I have full confidence in it, but I think enough people now, with the information available to us, can draw those conclusions for themselves. And that's what should scare the government. If we're talking about being scared, is the minute that more and more people begin to have those scales fall from their eyes, is the minute that their collective hold over all of us truly ends. I think back to that movie, A Bug's Life,
Yeah.
when finally all the
Right.
ants finally stood up, and that's all it took, right?
Yeah.
And yes, I realize a lot of people out there are almost holding their breath, and it's almost like feels like they're waiting for a leader or a hero or whatnot. Maybe that hero is you. Maybe you don't want to be, but maybe you are called to be that hero. When and if the dam does break, then I feel like the revolution that would come would make any and all prior revolutions look like a walk in the park, as well they should, because when everything is revealed and laid bare, there will and should be consequences, and people will and should be held accountable for the role they played in this vice grip on humanity and on, honestly, the human spirit itself.
Yeah. It's deep stuff, folks.
I wonder how much of this is like a three. I was listening to Matt kind of try and connect some of those dots, and I wasn't aware of a lot of that. And I was willing to prescribe to the idea that, the media has been calling Trump and the right fascists and Nazis for the last, 20 years. And in the case of some of these shooters, that's their entire life.
Yes.
So for their entire lives, they have been told through the media that the right is the enemy. They are literally fascist Nazis, right? And then you introduce the idea of discord, and you get into this idea of private rooms that kids can chat on while they play their video games, and they have way too much time on their hands, right? And that message seeps through, and it infects, and I'm just going to say it, tell me I'm wrong, but it infects these lower IQ people who are basically more susceptible to being brainwashed. And so you have this cause and effect that is happening, where it goes directly from media, Trump, hate, fascist, all the way to this idea that kids playing Call of Duty, and to Damani's point, all of a sudden they see, well, I'm the hero. I'm going to go and stop said Nazi. I'm going to go and stop said fascist. And so, you have this cause and effect where some people like us are called to speech and others are called to violence.
Yeah. It's the parallels are merciless is my point. And
Yeah.
there's just in this day and age, we have got to increase consequence and decrease neglect. And
That's in family. That's in the workplace. That's in with our spiritual leadership, with our politicians. We've got to find a way to have more consequence. Folks, donations are on tonight. FYI, Damani's here, and you guys are amazing, and I love you, because usually when we have guests on, we don't do donations because we don't want that guest to feel that we're fundraising off their image. But unfortunately, Damani's going to be here for 2 hours. So cast away, folks. Just launch torpedoes, flood tubes 3 and 4, and let's go. Here is a video. I want to stay on this tip, and then we're going to jump off. But Pete Hegseth, Secretary of War, I love it.
I love that.
It's awesome. So has decided to bring admirals, generals, and high-ranking flag officers into a communal area to have a conversation. I'll tell you that I did a little research, and I knew one of them was done during the Vietnam War. Another one was done in World War II. Leeroy's like, what? One was done after 9/11. And we also know that we broke the barriers that were put up. And then we've talked about how Washington, D.C. is putting up barriers right now, and some anticipate it's for Netanyahu's visit. But they also went ahead and seized and confiscated thousands upon thousands of SIM card auto dialers, which could literally completely break the networks of New York for 911 and any type of calls going out in the city, which is the first stage of command and control communications, which when you want to do an attack or you want to invade a country, the C4 is usually what you go after. So the fact that that's a little bit terrifying. Now we have this. So let's listen to this, and then we'll all comment. Damani, let's cross our fingers that you can hear this. Tell me if you got green light with a thumbs up. No, you can't hear that because I haven't changed it yet. I'm about to. Here it is.
That's planning a rare in-person meeting with hundreds.
Can you hear that? Okay. All right. Let's turn up the volume and let's listen to this. This is from Fox News. Martha McCallum, who I like a lot. Why is this? Why? This is the weirdest thing. I have never seen this in my life. Oh well. This
of top generals and admirals from around the world. Wow. Military sources telling. So Secretary of War Pete Hegseth planning a rare in-person meeting with hundreds of top generals and admirals from around the world. Military sources telling Fox News that this is set for Tuesday at a Marine base in Virginia. Chief National Security Correspondent Jennifer Griffin reporting live from the Pentagon. Hi, Jen.
Hi, Martha. The meeting, first reported by the Washington Post, has since been confirmed by Fox News. 800 generals, admirals, and their senior enlisted aides have been ordered from their post around the world to Washington, D.C. to gather in an auditorium at Marine Base Quantico in Virginia on Tuesday. The officers have not been told what the meeting is about. The invitation has sent shockwaves through an already fearful officer corps who have been on the receiving end of angry outbursts by Secretary Hegseth, who routinely threatens to submit them to polygraphs. Some express concerns that bringing all the military brass to one location in D.C. is an unnecessary security risk and question why the meeting cannot be held on a secure video teleconference call, especially at a time of rising global threats and cost-cutting as the government faces a possible shutdown. Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell confirmed the meeting but gave no details other than Secretary Hegseth, quote, will be addressing his senior military leaders early next week. Secretary Hegseth has fired without explanation nearly 22 officers, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General C.Q. Brown, the chief of naval operations, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, Coast Guard Commandant.
Oh, she was horrible.
Admiral Linda Fagan, Air Force Vice Chief of Staff General James Slife. Last month, Secretary Hegseth fired Defense Intelligence Agency Director Lieutenant General Jeffrey Cruz, Navy Reserve Chief Vice Admiral Nancy LaCour, and Naval Special Warfare Command Head Rear Admiral Milton Sands, the head of the Navy SEALs.
That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Remind me to tell you the time I gave him a flag and honorary at a golf tournament.
All right.
Leeroy, you get to go because I want to get your take on this because yeah. I mean,
I
and
know
there's
quite
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So all we can really do at this point is speculate on what the purpose of the meeting is. I have to imagine that if he was going to fire a whole bunch of people, that would have already occurred.
Correct.
So, if, from my perspective, I feel like this is going to be a chance for him to express his desire for a course correction within the military. And he's probably going to lean on them to say, hey, let's get back to standards, let's get back to basics. Again, I'm speculating because I don't know. But that would be my take on it. This is probably going to show his intent to kind of course correct the military away from, what should we say, lower standards or things like that, and really let everyone know that, hey, look, this is supposed to be a war fighting organization, a war winning organization, and in order to win a war, we have to prepare for it. So that would be my expectation.
Real quick, Damani, then I want you to put a bow on this for us and get your thoughts. Because listen, this affects you, and you have a lot of military in Texas. Here's just a couple notes I dropped down of what it could and what it could not be. Leadership purge or restructuring? Sure, absolutely. 120%. Could be. I agree with Leeroy that usually a sit rep and your pinks would be handed to you fairly quickly wherever you are, and the T&E is not going to be approved to travel to Virginia. I'm with him 120%. New defense strategy unveiling. Usually would have been done in sectorized training, and you would take the specific areas and MOSs and distribute that accordingly. But more than likely, that's a good chance. Political control over the military? Get the fuck out of here, people. Just news media, shut up. Just don't talk anymore. Frickin' civilians. Operational security reasons. Now, this is probably what I think it is. I don't think it's a restructuring. I think they're going to go over OPSEC. I think there's vulnerabilities across the United States, and they are going to give a very detailed and specific briefing style that is going to say, you either fix these areas of opportunity, which these are the top 4 that need to be rectified and fixed by 0300, 7 days from now, 21 days from now, or it's your ass and it's your command. And I think that's going to be the focus. I think they've had a chance to do readiness reports. They've checked these base of operations. They've done the visits. And they now see that these flag officers have a task list to do. And this would be a perfect opportunity to do it, is you leave it unknown. You have them kind of proverbially crap the bed a little bit and be a little afraid when they do the driving, kind of like when your dad comes home. Let them stew in that for a couple of days and then pop it on them. And I think it's an effective way. D, your thoughts on this?
I would agree. I think OPSEC's well within the realm of possibility. And obviously having them all in one place could serve 2 purposes. It could be one, to roll out some new plan of what that's going to look like, but then also enforce some sort of compliance test, if you will. Even like, if you are not in on this, then okay, you're here, like it's time for you to be terminated, and so on and so forth. If that truly is what it is, because make no mistake, even within the military, there's this, for lack of a better term, the infection of radical liberalism has spread to the military as well. We even saw many individuals, service members in some cases, who felt bold enough to sound off and express their glee at Charlie Kirk's murder. So this radicalization has infected those ranks as well. So if it's something to even do with that, and ensuring that we do not have this this spirit of darkness, if you will, in our military, then that could be a very positive thing. This is honestly the first I heard of that particular news story. So time will tell what happens, but hopefully something positive and constructive will come of it, and we'll begin to reclaim our military as the best fighting force on the entire planet. And hopefully we'll be able to actually move forward from this and be stronger, and all the better for it.
Or Donald Trump is going to go ahead and announce himself as supreme leader and declare martial law, and he'll be the emperor. So, fucking liberals. Megan Kelly, Turning Point USA is back to just listen. I'm telling you, Glenn Youngkin is spinning up, and listen. I told you Nikki Haley and I told you Ron DeSantis would be in the final for vice president. I told you that they would be running, and then and I told you why Nikki Haley would have been a choice if Donald Trump didn't pivot at the month 13, 16, when he stopped and started focusing on bringing more to the middle and talking about abortion and expanding to the Life Act and a few of the other more moderate positions. Nikki Haley had the highest rating ever of any politician in U.S. history when it came to abortion. She was at a 67% approval. That's unbelievable. And that gives you the election. Well, Donald Trump found a way to do it without her, thank God. And we got J.D. Vance, hopefully the next president of the United States. But I think Youngkin is really, they are spinning him up. So he was the first person to do the TPUSA event, and he and Megyn Kelly. That's very specific to grab a governor and have him there, and he crushed it. I mean, Youngkin, I love the man. I think he is going to be a president of the United States. I have the feeling that he is going to be there, because what he can do is he has a very moderate disposition when it comes to how he talks and approaches people, but he's also very factual and very strong, and he's a business leader and he's successful. Not exactly MAGA, but the closest thing you're going to get to MAGA is Donald Trump and nobody else, because he is MAGA. This is Megyn Kelly, and this is a leftist, and they, I want to show you this exchange, and Glenn Youngkin was there, and if you haven't seen it, you can watch it on Megyn Kelly's page, but here it is. Give this a watch.
Oh, he looks angry.
Oh, he's pissed off. But Megyn does what Megyn always does. She just, you're not going to, she's amazing. She was a prosecutor. You're not going to win this.
Contributes to the rhetoric that got your friend Charlie killed. You saw his rally recently. He said, "I hate my enemies." Stephen Miller said similar things. How can you support him when he contributed to what got Charlie killed?
Assumes facts, not evidence. What you said is not true.
70% of political violence is committed by Republicans.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Look it up.
That's not
DOJ
true.
just pulled it. The DOJ just pulled it from their website. DOJ just pulled the study from their website because they're delusional.
That's not true, because
they just pulled it. Look it up.
Once you
pulled it from their website.
Once you pull the crazies out of there, it is overwhelmingly left-wing violence.
Google it.
We have had
every single person in the
understand.
audience. Google it right now.
You know, this is how we get here.
Right.
So first of all, let me take on the first part of the premise of your question, that it was President Trump's rhetoric that led to an assassin killing our friend Charlie Kirk. That's a blatant lie. It's a defamatory blaspheme, and it's inappropriate in the setting.
That's not what I said.
We know. Yes, it is.
Yes,
no,
it
I
is.
said he contributed to the political atmosphere.
Well, then you have no point.
Tension.
Then your point is utterly empty. Contributing to the atmosphere.
This
guy was, no, let's just make clear. This guy was motivated by leftist ideology. We know it from the bullet casings. We know it from the Utah governor. We know it from his own mother. Yes, we do. Let's be really clear on that.
Even if that's true. So then you're saying because...
Any minute, she's going to pull him up on stage and spank him. I mean, seriously, because that's what this kid needs, is a very serious...
Well, if that's the punishment, sign me up. Please.
Yeah, I was going to say, where's the next event?
Hey, this guy's a leftist. Even if that's true, does that make it okay for the sitting president of the United States to incite violence against liberals?
The president of the United States has not accepted violence against liberals. The president of the United States made a joke at the Charlie Kirk Memorial, which was funny and self-deprecating. It was on the heels of Erica Kirk saying she, in an extraordinary moment, forgave her husband's killer.
He refused.
And let me finish. And then President Trump got up and making a joke, playing off of what Erica said. He said, "We disagree. I need to do better. Erica's going to try to convince me, but I'm in a different place." And that's completely normal for a politician to be thinking about his political fights. And by the way, Trump has every right to loathe his enemies. They tried to put him in jail for the rest of his life. They tried to bankrupt him. They tried to put his family in jail, and they tried to kill him.
Criminal.
Okay, wait. Wait. Okay, now you go.
Your time.
Wow.
That's
just,
about...
I'm done.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm done.
Damani gets first. Go ahead.
Kelly's journey. Like, let's just think about that for a minute. Because wasn't Megyn Kelly, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't she the one who asked Trump that question about where Trump responded Rosie O'Donnell almost a decade ago?
Yeah. He said he
called
her.
Women you don't like, pigs, fat.
Only Rosie O'Donnell.
And then she quickly said, no, it wasn't. I remember that vividly. That's seared into my memory, right? So the fact that she is now on the warpath like this, I feel like indicates on the contrary. We were talking earlier about how certain individuals have been radicalized by the left intentionally. I feel like people like Megyn Kelly, who I used to have more of a bone to pick with, she has almost been, if you want to use the term radicalized, she is wide awake now. And I feel like over the past several years, she has moved further back into the good graces of many individuals on the right because she's seen just how crazy the left has become. So that was just one of my biggest takeaways. I watched that the TPUSA event live on TV last night, and I thought it was amazing. I think that Megyn Kelly and many other voices, seeing them rally around TPUSA, put their arms around them, and actually literally fill in for Charlie, I think that's what we need to see more of. Like I mentioned in the beginning of the show, we need to have more voices willing to step up. And if this is not the time, I don't know what time it will be, but it has to be right now.
Yeah, Leeroy, we're going to go to you real quick. You guys don't have to tag me in Youngkin stuff. I've been telling you guys about Youngkin for 4 years. So Youngkin is the de facto heir apparent if Donald Trump's policies do not crystallize over the next 3 years and 2 months. And now, if we start seeing consistent world dominance in the economic and geopolitical frame, that then rebounds to the United States, and we see continued tax decreases, and we see businesses flourish and expand, and jobs expand. Yeah, then J.D. Vance has his own ticket to punch, and he doesn't need to do anything. He can go pick whomever he wants. But if his coattails aren't as strong as we need them to be, then you're going to need somebody like Youngkin to come in and take it, because Youngkin he's a Kennedy in the way he presents, but he can destroy Newsom, and Newsom is very clever. He's horrible. The left doesn't care. They want somebody who has the look and the cap teeth and the tan, because that's what they respect. They don't respect the intelligence. They respect the person who can yell the loudest, and Newsom has that ability. Youngkin will destroy him. He will make Newsom look small and as insignificant as that alcoholic SOB is. Okay?
With regard to that kid.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting how not only how emotional he was very angry from the moment he stepped up on stage, but he also went right back, just regurgitated all of the anger-filled rhetoric that you always hear. Look it up, use Google, do your own research. And he was very in your face about it. And when we hear about the reports, specifically from any sort of .gov site that says that radicalized right-leaning people are kind of the new spawn of violence here in the United States, I've seen a couple of those reports, and oddly enough, a lot of those, and I think it was the Department of Justice was one of the studies, one of the biggest sites, or one of the biggest examples that they had referred to was Antifa, right? So they're talking about this surgence of right-wing violence, but then they source Antifa as that violence. And I just think to myself, who's writing this? Who is peer reviewing this paper before it goes to public?
That's right. They also didn't include gangland style shootings in this violence. And let's face it, that's the most political violence there is in America. Is for the last 75 years, the modern day slave plantations and allowing black youth to murder each other. That is political, and it's designed for votes, and everybody knows it. I mean, it's one of the most unspoken truths. And when Candace Owens wasn't literally batshit crazy, she was talking about it every single day. Sorry, I'm not a big fan.
I mean, it's a brilliant self-calling. Don't get me started on certain individuals.
No, we're doing it tonight. Nope, we're doing it. I'm playing the black. I'm like, I got a black eye on. You're damn right. I'm talking about Candace, because then
you have two black eyes on.
Oh my gosh,
from the waist down. So here we go. I got Damani. Your audience is either going to love us or hate us, folks. I don't know if I made it clear.
Don't unfriend him.
Don't unfriend me. Please don't. Folks, I don't know if I've made it clear, but thedumbshow.com/donate is open and ready for business. I don't know if I said it, and I know you guys are liking the show. it's that the show's entertaining. So they don't think about it. And that's totally cool. And then they're going to scramble at 15 minutes. And I trust the team. So I'm just going to sit back. I'm not going to get all crazy about it. But take your time, whatever. But this is a gentleman who I didn't like when he was completely on the left. And I don't like him now that he's on the right. And he has openly said he goes, the reason why he supports Donald Trump now has nothing to do with his politics. It's just that he's not the left. And this is Michael Rappaport. You may know him from the movie Beautiful Girls. Yeah. Yep. And I don't particularly like Mike, but occasionally, like a blind squirrel finds a nut. This guy, is a broken clock that's right twice a day. He finds it. And it's so funny that Damani brought up Candace Owens. I didn't. He did. You guys heard him. That we're going to hear what Michael Rappaport thinks of Candace Owens. And we're going to have a talk. And here it is. This should be fun. This should be good. I'm excited for this. This is good. Don't burn bridges.
This is a con artist. Why do...
Oh, there's some language in here because Michael Rappaport has like 172 words in his vocabulary, and most of them are vulgar. So I apologize to those who have problems.
That's a great freeze frame, though.
Yeah, just play that in your head constantly, and you'll be fine.
You people keep going back to the well of Candace Owens. The don't deliver. The has not delivered. She's always like, I got receipts. Where are the receipts, What makes you happy, Candace Owens? You're a mother of small children. You seem miserable. And you seem more and more miserable as the days go on. Why are you talking about Charlie Kirk less than a week after he was killed in cold blood? Let his wife do that. You're not his wife, You're a groupie. Let's not forget just a few weeks ago, kooky Candace Owens, miserable Candace Owens, rotten Candace Owens interviewed Harvey Weinstein from jail. And her big reveal was nothing. You don't deliver on anything. She's like, I got receipts on Charlie Kirk. I got receipts on Israel and the Mossad. And they had to, where are the receipts? You never deliver the receipts.
And this isn't one of the times that Michael found a blind nut. He missed it completely. And like most people that come from the left or are on the left, they can't articulate a point without degrading. And if you could have just maybe pulled it back a little bit, you would have had some valid points. And this is what gives Candace power, is because people are afraid to challenge her because she's sharp and she's quick-witted, and she can put them, so string those sentences together, like people like Ian Carroll and Stu Peters and these other people, and they can espouse falsehoods all day long but Damani doesn't lie when he does it, is what I'm saying. So Stu Peters and Candace Owens, I believe that they're grifting, and I don't believe that they're talking with facts. The good thing about Damani, good thing about you, and I would say most of the time me, is that we try to base it on factual evidence and not get personal unless people get personal with us. Damani, I'm handing it to you for only one reason. It has nothing to do with anything else that I know it makes you completely uncomfortable. So it's yours. Merry Christmas.
Oh, gosh. The more time that passes, the more we've seen this movement evolve. I feel like we are seeing it undergo a transformation that if people have been watching me for a long time, they realize I actually predicted this was going to happen. I want to say almost 4 years, maybe 3 years ago now. It was a video that I made. It was on YouTube, I want to say. And I remember asking this poignant question. I think it was in my Conservative Inc. YouTube series. And I was saying, what's going to happen when Trump leaves office one day? And it had to do with individuals who have built a following literally off of Trump's coattails. What are they going to do? And essentially the answer to that rhetorical styled question is you're going to have to go to increasing lengths to maintain your relevance. And this is not necessarily for me to brag or put a feather in my own cap per se, but there have been a couple individuals in the past who I had very specific bones to pick with, even got into a couple public spats with individuals, not including but not limited to, Candace Owens, even Ashley St. Clair, David Harris Jr. These are individuals where as soon as you call them out, then what's interesting is they have co-opted the phenomena of Trump to such a degree
Mhm.
that individuals view any attacks on them as some sort of unpardonable sin. When all you're saying is, look, these individuals might not be 100% where they should be, or coming from the same position that you are, but those individuals have co-opted the visage of Trump, if you will, to almost make themselves indestructible or indefatigable against individuals who would levy any criticism whatsoever. So now that we're seeing the movement begin to evolve beyond those formative figures, the ones who probably were most instrumental in Trump's first term, which I think needs to happen for any sort of movement to have any sort of longevity whatsoever. You
Correct.
cannot continue to have, and this is one of the bones I have to pick, is anytime you have one of those big events that's put on by many of these conservative entities, now it's you start to see the same faces over and over, the same names over and over again. Okay, yeah, it's great to have, let's say, the Candace Owenses of the world and this person and that person come speak and all, but where are the new voices? If your movement is truly going to evolve and whatnot, you can't simply have an event where it's headlined by Candace Owens and maybe Jordan Peterson and maybe Tucker Carlson. Love them or hate them, it's just the fact of the matter. And if we keep having those same voices come out, then eventually they're going to feel as if they have license to say whatever they want without any sort of consequence. So the fact that more individuals are starting to find their own voices and honestly, attract the attention that many of those, the old guard, I would say, had, is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing, particularly if many of those formative figures have started to feel like they have to dig deeper in that barrel or scrape the bottom of that barrel to find some way to stay relevant. I'm not saying that they're not purposeful even now, but at some point in time, you almost have to pass the baton or be willing to share the baton. But one of the most unfortunate aspects of the conservative influencer community, if you will, is there are a fair few number of individuals who are gatekeepers who, feel as if they might be above, the quote unquote common individual, this or that. So over time, they become the very thing they originally said they were against, which is like the elites, the establishment, the this, the that. I shared when I went up there and got to meet you, Matt, for the first time. You and Olivia and your beautiful family up there. I got to ride in a car with James O'Keefe. I didn't know he was going to be there for that show taping. Ride in a car for a good half hour, and the impression that I got was it seemed to be somewhat self-absorbed, a little bit above the fray. Didn't seem too interested in talking or conversing, and that's all fine and good. I'm not special myself. The fact of the matter is, these individuals, they have created this aura of what do you call it, invincibility. And the
Right.
more that we allow them to get away with saying literally everything, oh, well, this person's pro-Trump, so I can't say anything negative about them, it does them a disservice and our movement a disservice as well. So I could talk all day long as well, but those are just my kind of preliminary thoughts, if you will. And I'll yield the floor to you or to Leeroy to add more context or pertaining to the situation.
Jeez, I didn't know you had an opinion on this. My God, if I would have known. Heraldry comes to mind. And coat of arms would be passed down between knights to squires, and squires would be elevated to different positions, and dukes to barons, and then be knighted. And what you found in heraldry was that it always was the same lineage would receive the banners and the coat of arms of nobility. And it was a way for a poor man to reach to titles of nobility. And it was an incredible thing. But there became a point where a lot of good people were overlooked, and armies would become mundane and become stale and would lose their passion for the battle because their convictions were towards the heraldry versus the actual country itself. And you can go ahead and splice and dice that any way you want, consume it. But really, the idiom is the almighty dollar is more powerful to a lot of people than their integrity, their self-worth, and their overall reputation. And it's a very similar situation here. We have heraldry inside the conservative movement. And now what you're finding is because people can't be accepted and people can't break through, they are branching to the other sides. And this is where you get people like Stu Peters and Nick Fuentes, and you get this alt-right movement, which goes to the extreme side of the equation. That isn't about the country. It isn't about talking about the truth. It's about getting as many clicks as possible. And this is why you're seeing people literally jump ship and diving into this. And not only are we wasting generational talent of people who deserve to have a voice, not because they're special, but because they see through this, we need another evolution. Because if this is what we think is going to happen for the next 80 years, and this is our new ABC, CBS, and NBC, then we are in deep trouble. Because what's happening now is not the truth. And it's distraction, it's clicks, and it's to generate revenue. And we might as well get the old legacy media back, because if there's not going to be any truth tellers, then I don't want to listen to the story. Leeroy, go ahead.
Back to Michael Rappaport. I don't care a whole lot about Candace Owens. I liked her interview when she was on John Stossel when she first became famous, when she made the string of videos and basically said that it was easier to come out of the closet to your family than it was to come out as a conservative. And I thought those were very clever. But I never like hung on her word to say, oh my God, this is the new amazing right movement. No, because ultimately what it means to be pretty far right is to have independent thought, to not get swept up in either emotion or groupthink. And we have an incoming donation. Hey, thank you. It was $10 from Joanne Townsend. Says, loving the show. Thank you, Matt, Leeroy, and Damani. Thank you, Joanne.
Thanks, Joanne. Appreciate you. And Melanie also, who we missed earlier because the window wasn't up. So we've got it up. Go ahead.
Gotcha. But back to Michael Rappaport. So when he tees off on Candace Owens, for a while, I think a lot of people thought maybe he was shifting some. And as it turns out, that was just what do we have incoming here? Bobby Richardson with $21.10 says, just a small start. Love you all, Damani. Great to see you.
Thank you so much. Likes
you, Damani.
Thank you.
Michael Rappaport, I think, had a moment where he was starting to make sense, but that was mostly because he's Jewish and in Hollywood, and he has a voice. So when everything was teeing off with Israel, Charlie Room donated $20. I don't remember seeing his name before. So first time donating.
Charlie's new.
Watch when I can. Thank you very much, Charlie.
Thanks, Charlie.
But I don't see Michael Rappaport as like this huge intellectual, somebody that could even debate with Candace. He's just a dude with a voice who happens to have found his way into an acting career and has a platform. But just as we heard, I mean, he only has to Matt's point, a vocabulary of about 70 words, and most of them offensive. So if you can't make your point based off of that, then, no offense to Michael Rappaport, but man, you got a lot more soul searching and you got some books to go through before you can figure out what it really means to be left and right.
I agree. James Comey was just indicted for obstruction of justice. So we know he has a reply. It's on Instagram. We'll have it up here. I'm not in any rush to get to Comey. Until I see handcuffs, I don't care.
Thank you. I was literally going to say I don't care until we start seeing people get frog marched and perp walked at this point. Investigations, hearings, all this crap. I'm tired of it. It's performative. It's meant to help politicians have their next big sizzle reel for their re-election campaign. No, until people are actually behind bars for their treason, their sedition, for their corruption, then nothing is going to change. And we have to start saying that a lot more often. Sorry, I had to do
such a black pill. My God. Jeez.
Good Lord.
God,
because I'm black.
So negative.
So angry.
Sorry. African-American pill. So in Dearborn, Michigan, listen, I've heard it's bad. And I'm just going to play you Dearborn, Michigan. This happens 5 times a day. And it happens all across the city. And at first I thought it was air raid. And I'm like, what the name of, and then I recognized it from, trips over the pond. And I was like, dude, this sounds like Qatar. I mean, this sounds like Bahrain. This sounds, what the is going on? Listen to this.
What happened?
You're about ready to hear it. You'll know right away.
That is the sound of peace, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, peace and love.
Which way's east?
Which way's east? Based upon that horizon right there, looks to be somewhere to the right. So this is Dearborn, Michigan, and here is the city council meeting. Mary Frances, I respect you 120%, and this is the line I hear is that Candace is a truth seeker, that Candace is searching for answers. No, Mary, I don't want to turn you off of our show because of things I say about Candace. I'm not here to destroy Candace's reputation. She's doing a great job of that herself. I'm just here to point out the hypocrisy. So I appreciate you. You're a longtime listener, and you get to listen to whomever you want. And the fact that you're listening to us means the world to me. So thank you. See how I turned that around? I should be a politician. That was really well done. Seriously, Mary Ann?
That was well done.
Give me
Good
some
job.
love. Give me some love on that. Here's the video. This is insanity.
Wait, before we move on, wasn't
Yeah.
that was Dearborn? Dearborn, wasn't that the city where they recently tried to change their police patches to have Arabic on the police patch?
Yeah,
I
yes.
didn't hear that.
One of the many things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Here, and listen to this. This is gonna, if you think that blew your skirt up, wait to hear this one.
But the mosques in East Dearborn are now at times waking us up at 5:30 in the morning with a call to prayer.
This is Dearborn resident Andrea Unger at last night's city council meeting stating that mosques using outdoor loudspeakers for their call to prayer should not be allowed, and says she believes it's not supposed to be allowed per city ordinance.
The noise complaints have been made out and the police have made numerous visits. What is the next step?
There was some question whether or not any outdoor loudspeakers are allowed, something that was not clarified, only that more evidence is being gathered. But CBS Detroit did examine Dearborn's noise ordinance and found that loudspeakers between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. are in violation of the ordinance.
But the mosque.
I don't know. I don't have a goat in this fight. Anybody want to take it?
Wow. God.
That was off the cuff.
Okay.
That was off the cuff. That was off the cuff. That was off the cuff.
Lord, you know what?
Yeah, D. Go ahead.
I mean, this is common knowledge to anyone who's been paying attention.
Yeah.
Those who profess radical Islam, those who profess Islam in general, are allowed to play by a different set of rules, much like individuals who are on the left, who are radical leftists, continue to be allowed to play by a different set of rules. It's the classic rules for thee, but not for me, that we've seen memified or whatnot over the past several years. And the thing is, for some reason, certain parts of the country have become overrun by individuals who have nothing but contempt for the very country that took them in when no one else would, right? There's whole swaths of the country now, isn't it? What do they call it? People call Minnesota Minnesomalia sometimes because there's so many of them up there.
Right.
You've got the Ilhan Omars of the world. Who was the politician? Omar Fateh is his name. I forget where he's running. Is it Michigan? I forget. Who cares? Basically, these radical Islamists are starting to not only come into America and leech off of us, but then in many cases they are trying to become the individuals who dictate how we American citizens have to live our lives. And guess what? We don't want to live in a country where we have these random crazy calls to prayer at 5:30 in the morning. Okay. Like it's not radical to say that. It's not mean to say that. If anything, you have the right to freedom of religion, but you cannot. Like, how would people react if we were out there ringing church bells at 5 in the morning?
Right.
Like, we're not going to do that. So why are they doing that? And why are they allowed to do that and violate their own city ordinances? But we're afraid to say anything bad about them. And think about it. Why are people afraid to go against them if they're the religion of peace?
Right.
Why are they afraid to go against them? Maybe it's because they're not the religion. Maybe it's because every time we see like a truck flying through a largely populated area, maybe it's because there's not a peaceful person behind the steering wheel. These are things that people will say radical, but they actually are just simply common sense. I'm sick and tired of them being allowed to get away with it.
I thought you were going to be
God,
mad
that
at
is such a good point.
I thought he was going to be mad at me for the goat comment. I was like, this is the point where Damani lays me down. And I'm like, he's saying stuff worse than me. Forget it. Leeroy, why is it a good point?
Well, because of the hypocrisy between, people being afraid to approach anybody of Islam because of a fear of violence, yet they do claim to be the religion of peace. And why the hell would anyone allow that? Like, who is this? This is
Jonathan Witten.
Jonathan Witten donated $50, said, had to do this. I love truth tellers, Damani. I have seen a lot of your vids as well and just had to do this. Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's just a great point, right? Like, you shouldn't be afraid to tell somebody, hey, turn that shit down. It's 5:30 in the morning. I have to get up for work by 7, and you are killing my vibe, right? That's nothing wrong with that, right? The fact that they felt that like they had the ultimate right to wake everybody up within earshot, that's wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's me.
You guys
Imagine
remember
if you had a little baby. I mean, my daughter, she's almost 22 months old now. I cannot imagine the level of rage I would feel if that was waking her up early in the. Ooh, don't get me started on that, please.
I'd get an Oscar Mayer wiener dog truck and drive it around and crank Christian gospel all the time is what I would do. I would just find one for sale.
That's why we love you, Matt.
Yeah.
You're special. You're different.
Listen, wait a second.
We haven't play colors on military bases until 7.
Right, but listen, the point that's not. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being an intellectual and still being able to drop the hammer. I mean, you've got to be able to drop bars sometimes, and this is what you get with me. If you want to go ahead and wax intellect, I'll bring it. But if you also want to get down in the gutter and be a hood rat, I'm down for that. I grew up in it, so I'm ready. Let's go. Let's rock and roll. It's concerning. It's disturbance of the peace. I mean, I don't care. It all comes down to law. And is there a law against this? Yes. So enforce it, but they won't. And they won't enforce it because they know they're going to get voted out. This is what's happening in England. This is what's happening in Europe. And this is why Europe is going to fall. Europe is done. They're cooked. They're toast. They're not coming back from this. They're at a 0.90 for as far as birth rate. No civilization has ever come back from anything lower than a 0.7, and a 0.9 is not good. Anything below a 1.30 is essentially more people are dying than being born. And it's just a battle of contrition. Japan is the same way. Japan is cooked. 65% of their population is going to be dead in the next 30 years. They're toast.
I think that number is actually 2.1. Anything under 2.1 means that you're not maintaining enough births within the country for them to even maintain it. So anything below that,
right? But the off the cliff is 1.3.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Off the cliff is like you are literally now. It's just a matter of hitting the ground. 0.7 and 0.9. No civilization has ever come back. I mean, you can go from the Mayans, you can go to the Aztecs, you can go to the Incans, you can go to ancient Chinese, you can go to the Persians. I mean. You just don't come back. Every major country that falls in that number. Take a look for me, but because I believe that it's a 1.3 is kind of the ELE, the extinction level event for your civilization. But you can get the right number for me, but you could be right. 2.3 seems high because right now Muslims in Europe are having a 4.6. I mean, they're having kids. They are replacing the entire country. And politicians are eating out of their hands because they don't want to lose the election. It's very much like illegals. Once you go ahead and you naturalize people into this country and do a mass production, you're basically creating voting farms. There's no reason for them to do anything different. Go ahead, Leeroy. Did you find it for me?
Just a quick comment from AI Overview. It says a 1.3 birth rate means an average woman will have 1.3 children, blah, blah, blah. Like nothing that says.
You know what? I've got the thing. Let me look it up and I'll read it to you. Anybody else on this want to talk about? You guys want to move to Dearborn? Maybe move our show there? I think it'd be popular. No? Okay.
No, I'm not moving to Dearborn.
Karen Hamilton in Virginia. There is a huge race going on here, and it's Winsome Sears. Going against Spanberger. Spanberger is ex-CIA. She's all about DEI. Essentially, just take Northam and put him in a dress, which is disturbing in itself. And Winsome Sears,
but
Marine
not
Corps.
Too hard to imagine.
No, not with that guy, because when he's not wearing KKK robes.
Why are you like this?
It's
sorry, I had to.
It's when we get together. It's just not natural. So this election is huge. I've reached out to Winsome Sears, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Sears, to be polite and respectful, because I really love the lady, and I love Youngkin, to get on the show. I mean, we posted 2 posts. Damani will tell you, we had 2 posts that were about Virginia. He watches our page. He watches its growth. And they both did very, very well. I think one of them's at like 80,000. The other one's at like 40,000. That's really good for a Virginia-based election. And if you're just even 10% of that are your voters, you should be coming on the show. I've done everything I can, and she has not responded because I think their media is overwhelmed.
Across the border in Maryland.
But there are plenty of people coming out now, and we're seeing the GOP turn the tide because they realize this is a winnable race. I've been telling you guys, it's been slowly decreasing. We saw massive turnout for Republican counties, higher than we've ever seen before in Virginia. And right now, she's closed the gap to 5 points. Winsome Sears needs to get her butt on podcasts and start talking to the younger generation, because that's how she's going to win. Here's a video from this lady that I wanted to tell you about. Her name is Karen Hamilton. She is in a district out here, and I think it's District 7, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but here's the video, and we can discuss a little bit about the election coming up.
All right, Virginia, I'm here with Mr. Bingley, and we have a very important message to deliver about why you should be voting Republican. This one's about affordability. I'm sure you've heard that Virginia is a right-to-work state, and Spanberger wants to change that. You may not think that matters to you, but let me tell you why you should care. I talked to a business owner this morning that has a school construction project up in Northern Virginia, and he also has another one right across the border in Maryland. He told me that the one in Maryland is costing 30% more just because Maryland is not a right-to-work state, which basically means next time your local board of supervisors goes to build a school, they're going to be increasing your property taxes to cover for that additional 30% in charges. So if you care about affordability, if you care about lower taxes, you better go to the ballot box and pull the card for Republican all the way down the ballot. You know what to do. Get it done. We got 41 more days. Let's do it. All right, Virginia, I'm here with Mr.
So Spanberger created a fake news website on social media so she could create her own fluff stories to make herself look better.
Okay.
It's pretty insane. So she's pulling all the tricks. This is a big election. I'm just wondering from you guys, you're in Ohio. Damani's in Texas, fairly red. Virginia's purple. I don't believe Virginia's blue anymore. I think that hopefully things looking really good for Sears, especially as she continues to close the gap, and this negative press just keeps slamming right on Spanberger. She just keeps getting hit every day. I mean, she basically called for violence and said, use your rage, and started, right after Charlie Kirk, like 3 days after. I mean, just stupid stuff. And you're just like, who's your campaign manager, How are you guys feeling about Ohio? How are you feeling about Texas? How are you feeling about the conservative movement? Do we feel like the pulse is like 2024? Do we feel the Charlie Kirk effect is having an impact in your area? And why don't you go Leeroy, then Damani, and we'll kind of go from there.
I do feel like Charlie Kirk's assassination, while tragic, has done something to the people in the country to really galvanize people to say, whoa, we need to pump the brakes here on so much hate. What do we have here? This is CJ Jenkins with $21.10. Loving the show. Thank you, CJ. I think that movement has picked up speed, right? I did have a question as a follow-up to that video. I don't know enough about what it means to be a right-to-work state.
Yeah, so essentially there's right to work, which allows you to go ahead and terminate anybody who you want who is employed, as long as they have a couple of things: employee handbook, as long as they have signed the company guidelines, and you can verify that ultimately they broke some sort of policy within those guidelines to go ahead and process termination. It doesn't require a certain amount of write-ups like California. California is you have to walk through fire. Like, I had a guy who was late 17 times in 30 days, and I couldn't fire him. And the process has to be, you've got to get an original write-up, you have to have a second write-up, you have to have a third write-up, there has to be a certain amount of days between the two. You then have to have a district manager sign off. I mean, it's horrible to fire people. So when you say right to work, scratch that. It's opposite of what I just said. Sorry, just switch the term. Right to work versus an unprotected. Let me just read it off to you. because I want to give you the definition. My
When
dyslexia
I
is
heard
killing
right
me.
to work, I immediately think like, oh, so if I walk into some place, I can just immediately fill out an application, say I'm here.
Yeah. So in a right to work state, you cannot be forced to join a union or pay union dues to keep your job. You may still choose to join a union, but it's not it's voluntary. The consent comes from the Taft-Hartley Act in 1947, which allows states to pass such laws. It protects individual freedom of choice, attracts businesses to states, but it's also where you can fire pretty much anybody you want because it's not a union protected job. And it comes down to if the employer wins all. Now the employer might have to pay not workman's comp, but unemployment benefits, and that's done at a later hearing. Gotcha. So the employer will have a hearing along with the employee, and then they go ahead and do that. But
I just needed that cleared up because the rest of everything else, I understood that, and yes, I agree that the right-leaning movement throughout the United States has picked up steam, but that comment, I'd never heard it termed worded as such. Here in Ohio, we call that at-will employment.
That's the same. It's almost the exact same thing, except the terminology is different depending upon which HR department, which corporation you're working, and what part of the country you're in. But essentially, that's it.
Got it.
Okay.
I'll shut it now.
No, you don't need to shut up. Damani, your thoughts on Texas and where we're going? Is Beto O'Rourke going to be successful 4 times the charm here? Is he even running?
You know, I do think that the Charlie Kirk effect is going to yield some positive benefits, but I will say this, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. I think that it will have positive effects in the short term. It is up to us to determine the long-term effects, the long-term ramifications of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Because if there's one thing that I unfortunately have seen that happens all too often, is that we have these very rare galvanizing moments.
Mm-hmm.
And then all too often over time, they just fade away into the background. And all of the action and the righteous indignation that we feel now, I fear may not have the same fever pitch in November of next year that it will have today and tomorrow. So without basically emotionally browbeating people, manipulating them for the next 14 months?
Yeah.
How do we keep Charlie's sacrifice, his assassination, his, dare I say, almost martyrdom? How do we keep that front and center in people's minds for a long period of time in a political arena that typically has a shelf life of, for most voters, probably no more than 72 to 96 hours? That is going to be the key to our success. If we're able to figure that out, then I would argue that the right has 2028 locked because of Charlie Kirk, 2030 locked, 2026 locked, and even 2032.
Yeah.
But if we do not seize upon this, and not in a cannibalistic way, but if we do not utilize this righteous indignation and do so strategically, and then actually have some sort of transformative action that takes place because of it, we'll be right back where we started by the time election rolls around 14 months from now. And I fear for what that portends for the future if that truly does become the reality in the future.
I just want to
Damani, do you think that the left needs Americans to have a short memory in order for their success?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, politics, even business and whatnot. One of the favorite phrases, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
Right. It's all about what is recent recall. And I would argue even, the TikTok effect, the short form content effect, it preys on individuals always needing that next dopamine hit, that next thing to look at, that next thing to fear about or worry about. Right.
Right.
I mean, just case in point, what was it? 2 days ago, everyone was saying the rapture's going to happen tomorrow. And
I
that
saw
dominated
that.
everything. I was like, oh my gosh, like, are we really having this conversation right now? Like, the Bible itself says no man's going to know, but whatever, who cares? That is how we have been habituated to act, how we've been habituated to think. And when that seeps over into the political arena, then the onus is on the political party to keep individuals focused and not allow them to miss the forest for the trees, because there will be plenty of trees that will put out in front of us over the next days, weeks, months, and years, even to try to distract us from what we should be paying attention to, which is this continued scourge of radicalized leftist political violence. I mean, I don't know if many people even are aware of this, but I saw an article, I forget where it comes from, but there was a baseball coach who got shot during a game. I forget what state. I want to say Michigan, maybe not, but I've taken so much news, it's ridiculous. But recently by individuals who have, very foreign sounding last names, it didn't get picked up. But that's another news story, right? That maybe people seize on or not. But it goes to show just how you can be so focused on one thing or be in one particular direction, you never fully realize what else is going on. And then 12, 14 months from now, you have no idea what happened barely 6 months ago. I mean, and one of the best examples of this is, do y'all remember that campaign back in, I think it was 2012, where it was Stop Coney, and it was all about the children who were being mobilized to fight wars in Africa? Nobody talks about that anymore.
Yeah,
and that's something that you would think would be a galvanizing moment, but because of how fast our political cycle, our news media moves, people forget about things almost instantaneously. So it's up to us, people like you and me, to keep people focused on these true heinous acts that the left is carrying out, not in just today and tomorrow, but weeks, months, and years from now, if we want to maintain that indignation and channel it appropriately.
Yeah. Remember Harambe?
Well said.
One of the things, yeah. So one of the things, what about the planking? What about the ALS challenge? I mean, you can just go on and on and on with these little flash in the pan type things that nobody cares about anymore, because they never really cared about the event. They just cared about, obviously, the attention it gave them and the clicks it gave them. The thing that, right to work and at will, completely 100% mucked that up. I apologize. You think somebody who was in retail for 35 years in executive management, 29 years, would know what at will and right to work is. And I do. I just mucked it up. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Ask my parents. They did too. So here is a video that, Damani, this wasn't for you. I saved this video last week, and I have to get to it because I know it's going to have it's going to be a palpable reaction. I don't think you're going to like this. I don't know if you've seen it.
One second.
Yeah.
I want to let you know I do have a hard stop, probably right at 8. I have 8% battery left on my phone.
You got it.
We'll do hard. Plugged into my microphone.
We'll do hard stop. We're gonna have to. I'm gonna have to go into overtime anyway. Leeroy and D, if you guys want to go, you can. Leeroy, you can stay a little bit, but we're gonna go in overtime for sure because I need to hit goal. But here is the video, and then I'm literally kicking it over to you because I want you to see this because, I want to see if our reactions are similar. And Leeroy, you too. So here it is. Have you seen this one?
No.
Leeroy? Okay.
No.
And Damani, have you?
Nope.
Oh boy. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Welcome to America. Tell me what you're thinking.
Just so much.
Kleenexes, please.
I've always been interested in history and the history of Black people. I took Afrocentric classes at U of L. My grandma lived at 2821 West Kentucky Street. I've read so many books, and now I belong to a church that's primarily African American, and I wouldn't be anywhere else.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay, I think Damani has something to say, so I'm just gonna let him
give you my thoughts, and I'll bounce because my phone is losing battery. I'm at 5% now.
Go.
I'll say is this: she's one of those people where it's like, I've done everything right. I checked all the boxes. I'm being a good white liberal, still not enough, because it will never be enough, okay? If you have this white apologist mentality, it will never be enough for you because your mission in life, according to your leftist overlords, is to constantly be in a state of obeisance and groveling towards individuals on the basis of things you yourself had nothing to do with whatsoever. I'm sick and tired of it. It has to stop. God bless everybody who's out there watching. Thank you so much for having me. I'm sorry I have to jump. My phone's literally losing battery as we speak. I appreciate you. I love you, Matt, Olivia, Leeroy, the whole crew, Amy out there. God bless you all and keep you all. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Y'all take it from here.
Well done, D. Mic drop. See you, buddy.
Thank you, buddy.
Oh,
that video is terrifying.
Zero white guilt. None.
I have no fucks to give.
People who were never slave owners shouldn't apologize to people who were never slaves. Sorry. Like, you can have all the guilt you want, but I mean, it's not going to do anybody any good. And I understand what that dude was trying to do is like maybe put yourself in the position of somebody from 200 and 300 years ago who's brought over against their will. But the fact of the matter is that was 300 years ago, 200 years ago. Like, when do we move on as a society? Because if you keep bringing it up, it's always going to be fresh in everyone's mind, and you're always going to have that guilt. But we've rectified that. Like, I'll say this: saying that argument the way, or having that encounter the way she did, it's going to be something that she will forever remember, and she wants everyone else to forever remember. And maybe that's fine. I don't know. In some circles. But as a society, if you constantly latch on to that, then that is in some way, shape, or form a not an acknowledgement, but maybe like an excuse for some people to have never. Thank you, Bobby, for the $31.39. Says go Texas and
Texas A&M.
A&M, got it. And just kidding, go Ducks. Love you, Matt. Oh, she loves you, Matt.
Yeah, well, she loves you too.
You're
done? Okay, you're still going. Go.
Isn't that like a reason for, or an excuse rather, to say, oh, this is why some black people have never been successful because of slavery from 300 years ago? Like, isn't that what that feels like? I don't know. It's gross.
I think it's disingenuous.
Yeah.
It trivializes what African Americans went through because you get to take those off. And the lesson that you're teaching somebody is that you can create the equivalence of pain and suffering by wearing a temporary thing that is not against your skin, that isn't ripping it to the bone, that isn't creating blisters, that is literally leg irons that can be taken off at any time. And I'll tell you, there's a movie called Soul Man, and it is a crappy movie, and it's with C. Thomas Howell, and I've said it before, where James Earl Jones at the end of it says, "You've seemed to learn a great deal." And C. Thomas Howell goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "You know what it's like to be black." And he says, "No, I don't, because at any time I could have been white again." And what he did is he took tanning pills and got his hair permed and looked black, and "You've learned a great deal more than I thought." And the whole point of it is that you can't be black, and you have no idea what slavery was like. And on the other side of that, you are black, and you have no idea what slavery was like.
Exactly.
You have no earthly, so you're borrowing the pain and suffering of someone else to try to pass it along somebody who has not earned the privilege
based on the color of their skin.
Based on the color of their skin and the pain that comes along with it. It's like me saying, because all of a sudden I go ahead and put some diodes on my nuts and turn the electrical pulse up, and I can feel what childbirth feels like for just a second. I don't have I can just pull those things off and walk away. And because I experience just a few seconds of that pain, which isn't even close to what a woman feels, all of a sudden I can relate and say, oh, well, I know what it's like to give birth. It's disingenuous. It's insulting. Yeah. And you're doing the same exact thing. This is all just theater. I wish Damani could have stayed longer, because he would have been like, wow, Matt, that was really deep.
That would have been his segment, actually.
Yeah.
No apology should be given to people who were never slaves by people who were never slave owners. That's just a fact.
Yeah. Don't you guys love Damani? Is he not just he is such a dude. Like, I have just never met somebody who is so open to being opposed to what the norm and standard is that someone says you should be. Yeah. You know? And I just love that he's fearless, dude. He puts it out there, and he always has a good take, and it makes you think. And you may not agree with it completely at all times, but it's still
I was gonna
good.
say I love the way he thinks. And when he connects those dots right in front of the camera, and you're like, I got it. And you're like, I see what you're saying. And it's brilliant. I love that, man.
Folks, we've got about 10 minutes to go. It is because we were about 10 minutes late to start. So we're going to keep going here. We're at 185. We need 115 to hit goal. Remember, we have moved away from our sponsor, and we are now, well, we're not rudderless. We just don't, have anyone. I don't know how you would say it. I don't have a euphemism for this. We're not rudderless. We just, we have few less people rowing, so to speak. So we definitely need help. The donations are going to make up that gap. We need you. So if you guys can help us, we would appreciate it. To let you know, we talked about how we left Wimkin, and it was just best decision for our show. And we've already went into it. You can rewind back to the first part of the show, but that creates a big gap. That means it's us. And I like it like that. Honestly, I like having it just be us. And we're in a good spot. And if you guys can help us get there, we would really appreciate it. Do you have to get out of here? You've been on a couple late nights the last few. The last times you've been on?
I'm good.
Okay. Here is saying
something against Israel. You say something.
You know what? I do have to go.
No, you got to hear Cenk Uygur. Listen, I'm going to tell you this. Cenk isn't doing well. Cenk has probably put on about 50 pounds in the last 3 months, and he doesn't look good. And homeboy is, listen, I don't hate Cenk Uygur. Cenk Uygur got me into politics from doing the show. Yeah. It really was him that infuriated me, because I looked at his coverage of political election nights, and I was so utterly disgusted at his stupidity that I said, you know what? I want to do more of this. So I really, before I started doing the Don't Unfriend Me kick, I was really going into politics and the elections, and posting it on my Facebook personal page and stuff. So he kind of got me in. He pissed me off enough where I got into it.
Yeah.
Bobby Richardson, thank you. And a couple of you have said thank you and done sign language thank you when people are talking. You guys know that I am saying thank you too, and I'm acknowledging you whenever I'm doing this, or I go like that, or I give you it's talking to y'all. So here's Cenk Uygur. He doesn't look good, and I want him to get better. Like, he is one step away from a heart attack, and if he continues to keep blowing gaskets like this, dude, it's not going to end up good. Because listen, bro. The last 4 months, I haven't raised my voice. I have been very, very calm. And there's just been some changes spiritually, and my family are going through, and things are good for us. And but I have a tendency to raise my voice when I'm pissed. And today, Olivia and I got into a little spat, and I raised my voice. And honestly, it wasn't even remotely close to where it would be, but I felt the pressure in my head, and I felt the pressure in my chest. And I'm like, holy crap, is this the way it used to be? Because I'm one step away from a heart attack. And I'm telling you, Cenk needs to dial it back a little bit, and he needs to stop getting so riled up. Watch this. He doesn't look good, dude.
Ooh. Say something against Israel. Israel is the Jewish state, the greatest state of all, right? I don't care that they're Jewish. I wish they had a safe haven for Jews that didn't constantly attack their neighbors.
It's called
that
America.
Didn't occupy their neighbors. I want a safe haven, but they don't want a safe haven. They want more land. It's called Greater Israel. It's a map that hangs in their cabinet. It's not like they're hiding it. Why don't you report it? Because no, anti-Semitic. That's an excuse they use to drive hatred towards Muslims so that Israel can accomplish their objectives. How could you say something?
Somebody call 911, man.
Well, I don't want to make light of it, because I'm telling you, if that continues, he's going to pop.
He's not look good.
He's going to pop if this continues. And this is how you get an aneurysm. This is how you blow a gasket and blow up a ventricle, because you're just, he doesn't look good. And I'm worried about him. And he's upset. Hold on, I got to say goodnight to my son. Leeroy, why don't you talk a little bit about what he had to say?
Yeah. While you're doing that, I to kind of firm up what Matt was saying, I don't hate anybody. And I hope that everybody has the opportunity to better themselves, to get better, right? To find some level of health and some level of intellectual awareness, to become somewhat spiritual and philosophical in their lives. So when you see someone teeing off with that kind of emotion, I don't know, man. I feel bad for the guy. I really do.
Yeah, like I get hot and I'll yell. But dude, if you're literally taking politics this seriously and you can't function, you need to stop. Like you just need to get out of the game because you're not factual. And listen, Cenk says things once in a while that are okay, you know. He's found some based things that he has said, and you blind squirrel. You know, Bill Maher today was completely TDS driven, but for the last year and a half, he's actually been fairly based. Just because this is the thing, we don't listen to the left enough. A lot of people just don't listen to the left at all. Like, I refuse. I will not listen to anyone on the left. Well, that's stupid. Because if you don't know where the opposition is coming from, then ultimately you can't debate them. You can't talk to them. You don't know their points. And this is why, I hate to say it, I'm good at it, is because I know what they're going to say. And that's where my liberal kung fu comes into effect. And Leeroy's liberal kung fu comes into effect, is because we study our opponents, and that's Shang Tzu, and that's just the way you do it. But Cenk like puts it out there like this, like, I'll debate anybody, just come on my show and debate me. And I'm like, well, that's not a good prerequisite for engaging conversation. My point would be, I'll talk to anybody who has something to say and can say it well. And I think Cenk is so desperate for relevancy, and the Palestinian thing isn't selling. It's not because even the people who are pro-Palestine, River to the Sea, they don't believe that. It's because, you want to know how? Because they weren't saying it on October 6th. It wasn't discussed because the Jews had given up land multiple times. They've expanded and given Gaza more room as their culture grows. They put 95,000 work permits to come in and work inside Israel. They put up the fences and the wire not to go ahead and keep the Palestinians in. They kept it to keep them out. They did everything they could. There were peace accords in place at the time. On October 7th, they were at peace, and they were attacked. And that's not the first time. So am I saying it's all the Jews? Am I saying it's all Palestinians? No. I'm saying
there's
that
been a lot of back and forth.
There has been, but there's only one group that specifically targets civilians. And if you're going to say it's the Jews, you're not paying attention.
True.
You're not paying attention.
That's not true. And I would also say that supposedly there was a letter dropped off to the White House. Who do we have incoming? Jerry Spangler donated $25.
That's a strong name, isn't it? Jerry Spangler.
Jerry Spangler.
It's like Dirk Diggler, you know? It's got that name. It's just got that tone. Jerry Spangler.
Yeah.
Good name. Good name. Go ahead.
But supposedly there was a letter dropped off by to the White House, and it was, from Hamas, that basically wanted this administration to, hey, can you put everything on hold for a little bit while they still hang on to an estimated, I think it was like 60 or 70 prisoners. Half of that they know to be deceased bodies. The other half is alive. Like, why would you negotiate with that? If
yeah,
to Cenk's point, right? If Israel is on such a war path, then you would think that these attacks would have ramped up, but they haven't. They've declined to some degree, right? From when this whole conflict first kicked off. And in the meantime, Hamas still holds some 70 some odd prisoners. Like, do some logic here, right? It doesn't make sense.
Well, they're
So,
like,
I don't know.
They're like, well, Israel has 30,000 Hamas captives and Gazans. Oh my God. WR32, $10 through Super Chat. Favorite Cenk moment is where he took his jacket off to fight Alex Jones and Roger Stone when they interrupted his show at the RNC, out of breath. Well, don't you remember Charlie Kirk was there too? Yeah, I remember that. Thank you for the Super Chat. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And they're like, well, the Jews have thousands of prisoners. Well, those aren't Gazans. Those aren't Palestinian citizens.
Right.
They're like, they're political prisoners. No, they're people who committed crimes against Israel. Now, I understand the Jews aren't. Listen, I know what the two things, everyone knows what I said. You're about to see how much the world hates the Jews, which I was right. And the second thing I said is that the Jews are going to literally annihilate anything that stands in what is called Palestine, but is Gaza. They are going to flatten it. They are done with consolatory half measures. There's no more of that. They are now purposely trying to eradicate the most prominent and strategic spots that have been the basis for attack. Now, should this be over by now? Yes. They need to hurry the fuck up. I said that 9 months ago. I said they need full scale, get in, get troops, clear it out, and start over. This is taking too long. And the longer this goes, the less sentiment will go in Israel's favor, because the world hates the Jews. And you may not like to hear that, but that's the truth. And I'm not saying you do, and I know that I don't, and I know, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking, you have, 1.6 billion or 2 billion Muslims who despise Jews.
Right.
The Chinese have no love lost for the Jews. The Russians have no love lost for the Jews. Europe has no love lost for the Jews. And we have seen all these Muslim countries who feel the same way. And as far as NATO and UN, they're very indifferent to the Jews. The Jews have the United States. And trust me when I say this, if the United States wasn't backing Israel, they would all be dead.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Full stop.
If there was one Middle Eastern state that had to figure out how to become very Spartanish, very fast, or risk being completely removed from the planet, it would be Israel.
That's it. And everyone needs to understand that. They are surrounded. 90 something 8% of the landmass is owned by Muslims. And I'm not saying the Muslims, I'm not making any judgment. What I'm saying is if it wasn't for the U.S., Israel would cease to exist. And if you think of the history of that, I really can't think of another country outside of Austria that throughout history would be in the same position. Maybe Taiwan. But yeah, maybe Taiwan.
Because Japan.
Yeah, Taiwan's a big one. Australia. If it wasn't for the United States, Australia would be gone. It would be Chinese or Japanese. So there's another one. Mello donated $26.25. Go to goal. Yes, please go to goal. Let's hit that thing so we can get on that.
Thank you, Mel.
So I understand where people may not like Netanyahu, may not like the money we put into that. That's fine. I get what you're saying, but you can do that without diving into the Candace Owens spiral of that the Jews are responsible for everything. The moon landing was faked by the Jews. The USS Liberty was an attack on you. Come on, enough. All right. Here's a bit. This was on Timcast, and this is interesting. Want to give Tim Pool credit where he deserves it in this video. I'm enjoying the fact that we're sharing other content and trying to give credit to people. I love it when people do that. And
I
a
like
lot of
Tim's stuff.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't do that, which frustrates me. Folks, we are not at goal 236. We need $64 to hit it. Need some help, folks. Remember, we are sponsorless at this point. It's just us. And we prefer that, but that's left a pretty big donut in the old coffers. So we're trying to continue to fundraise. We're not raising the price. We're keeping it at $300. And we promised you we wouldn't raise it. But we still got to drive goal. So let's do that. Remember, and every time we're over 2 hours at a $300, it's ticking down. So we're trying to hit that every single night. Help us out. We've got a whole bunch of people on. 41 on Twitter. We've got 35 on YouTube. Great to see YouTube grow, and 80 over on Facebook. And then obviously Wimkin Rebel. Help us out, please. Here is this video. Now, I want you to listen closely because this ICE agent, supposedly, is saying adios, like goodbye, leave, whatever. And this lady is not having it. I want you to watch her hands and tell me what you think of this video. Here it is.
Adios. 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 Come on, man.
So
was she a threat in some way? That's what I wonder.
No. Well, she touched him multiple times. She touched him 3 times and kept putting her hands on him and grabbing his hands.
Well,
and
she
he
was
kept saying,
hysterical.
and he said, adios, 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 like leave, leave, leave. And she chose not to leave and kept putting her hands on him. And then he said no more.
Yeah.
Now
Does that seem a bit excessive.
There's accusations that she pinched him or what. You're a man. I think there were several other steps to that escalation versus 2-hand shove into the wall and slam to the ground. I think there were other de-escalation tactics that you could have done.
Yeah, bigly.
But see, here's the problem that people don't understand. This is an emotionally charged situation. Whether these people are in the country or not, it's not that ICE officer's fault, and it's certainly not anyone in this administration's fault. It's the previous administration that put us in this precarious position. And these ICE officers have an incredibly difficult job, which is to give people horrible news that they're going to be ripped out of what they have grown accustomed to, whether it's illegal or not, and they're going to be deported back to their country. That is a scary thing. And how would you react? You're not going to be like, oh, I committed a crime, everything's okay. Oh, shucks, I got caught. No, you're going to be emotional. You're going to plead. You're going to scream. You're going to be upset. So I can put myself in that situation. But ICE has a very difficult job. And if this is every day that they see this and it's constantly in their face and people touching them and people whatever, then we also have to look at the amount of people that ICE is hiring. And are these qualified police officers? Have they been taught de-escalation techniques? Have they experienced this? Or are their qualifications that they're a warm body? So there has to be questions. Do I think that officer deserves to be dismissed? No. Do I think he needs to be coached on de-escalation techniques? I certainly do, because saying adios, adios, adios isn't efficient enough to say, you need to stop touching me and put your hands on me. This is assault. And if you do it again, you're going to get arrested in Spanish. And if you don't have that dialect, then you need to find someone who does and communicate that to that person, because they maybe not know what the hell you're trying to say or communicate, especially when they're completely off of it. You know? What do you think, Leeroy?
You raise a good point. If the officer wasn't trained well enough in order to deal with that situation as it was, then to go from adios, adios, adios while she's touching him directly into Mean Joe Green mode, then I would make the argument that maybe he does need to be dismissed. And maybe that's too much. Not sure. I don't know the guy. Was he ill qualified? Was he overqualified? I have no idea. But I know that, yes, true enough, she was touching him. But was she a threat? That's the question. I don't know the answer to that. And maybe him throwing her into the wall was a reaction. I don't know if it was justified. I don't know.
Yeah. So right here,
that's a rough call.
Yeah. Watch this. She gets her hand up in him. It looks like he reacts. Oh yeah. She pinches him. She gives him a nurple almost, but she like grabs some skin right here. Watch this. Bam, right there. She even turns her hand over and goes like that. So that fucking hurts. Oop, I'm sorry for my language. I apologize. That's old habits die hard. I've been really good tonight too. But it looks like it's enough for me to say that if somebody pinches me like that, and it hurts, dude. I'm sorry. It hurts to get, I'm talking like someone gets a chunk of you and it hurts. It stings a little bit. My reaction might be, okay, lady, I've had enough. But she was assaulting him. No matter how you place it.
Right.
There wasn't a threat, but she was breaking the law. First of all, she's an illegal. and she's assaulting him. And I just, folks, this is why assimilation to our culture is important and our laws and understanding what we do in the United States. And the respect for law enforcement you may not have in your country where you come from, but you better start doing it here because you're going to get knocked down. And I think there was a level of training gap here that could have solved this problem. I can't imagine a 20-year cop on the force would react this way. I just don't. That's my gut. That's my gut. A guy who's been 20 years and he's ready to turn his retirement, I don't know if he would. And once again, sympathy is not what I don't demonstrate sympathy unless I feel it. So I don't. Robin says zero sympathy for her, none. Let's not
go that route. But I mean,
because empathy and sympathy have nothing to do with this, right? This is just the facts of is she illegal? Yes. Is she creating a scene? Yes. Did she assault him? Yes. Was he right to remove the threat? Sure. My point is if a woman did that to me, I would not slam her into a wall. There are other ways to restrain and de-escalate. Listen, this is an emotional. Once again, this whole exercise in looking at something posthumously from the event and saying, or posthumously from the event and saying, oh, well, I would have done this. It's kind of disingenuous.
It's hard to say that because you don't. If you've never been in that situation, then you really can't answer that honestly. You would hope that that's how you would react, but you don't know.
Right? You don't. I eat breakfast with the training director of Homeland Security and Border Patrol almost every Saturday. And we go and eat in that restaurant. And these guys are extremely proud and well-trained and they love their country. And I'm not going to sit here and judge this guy. He didn't hit her. He didn't take out mace. He didn't take out a baton. He didn't take out his gun. He planted his feet and he pushed her and took her down. Yeah. At that point, the conversation's over. JD Stillwell donated 15. Shout out to the River Valley Raiders on the middle school football championship tonight. Congratulations to them, JD. To say thank you for me and congratulations. Here's my thought. Sympathy and empathy don't come into this equation. I don't care. If you're illegal in this country, you're a criminal and you need to go. I don't care how long you've been here. You leave. That's it. That's the rules. And if you don't like the law, change it. The moment she touched him,
8 months of that comment, that exact comment coming from the administration. If you're illegal and you're here illegally, obviously, then you need to go. I mean, it's not like that's been covered up in any way. So anybody who hasn't left by now, they're doing so with absolute knowledge that they are breaking the law.
Yeah, and Robin, born and raised in El Paso. I worked in El Paso. I certainly wasn't born and raised there, but I've lived on border states for almost 12, 13 years out of my life. And I understand completely what you're saying. I have no love lost for illegals. They're not immigrants. They need to go. My point is, and I keep saying this over and over again, is empathy and sympathy don't come into this conversation because they're not going to do any good for anybody. I don't know this lady. She doesn't know me. And honestly, I don't care. And as far as the officer, I don't know him. He doesn't know me. And I certainly, I don't know if I care either. But what I do want to talk about is the law. And the law says that if someone warns you to stop doing something and you continue to do it and you're touching them, that's assault. And she assaulted him 3 times and he warned her, adios, 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 goodbye, 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 leave. And she would not. And he did exactly what he is entitled. If it was a man, would we say the same thing? No, nobody would give a fuck. Nobody would. This wouldn't even made the news. But it's a woman, so therefore all of a sudden it's bad. Well, I'm sorry. I've seen women cold blood shoot up markets, and we saw this in El Paso. An Islamic couple went in and shot up, I believe, a grocery store in El Paso. So women kill too, and women do horrible things too. And if this was a man, nobody would care. It's not a man, it's a woman, and we're talking about it. So I don't care. Does it matter? Yeah, it matters. Well, I don't know if you're talking to me, Sandra. Yes, it matters because it's the news. And we could sit here and do that. You know how long our show would be if we asked that question? Does this really matter? No. Good night, everybody.
Adjusting transmitter output.
But we're not doing that because it does matter because we're talking about it. That's why. Folks, we are $49 away. We are in overtime. I got to get Leeroy out of here at 9:30 flats, guys. I need some help. We got to hit goal. This is not the day to miss goal. You remember when we did the show after the remodel and we missed goal, and I was just like, what?
Yeah.
I was like,
What
dude,
happened?
we've been waiting for that. This is not the night to miss goal. Like, this is a night where everyone should be like, yeah, let's go. Let's all rally.
Damani was fantastic. You've got Matt with this amazing talent and voice, the gift of gab. You got me here. I basically just take up space. Come on.
That's so demeaning to you. I disagree. Here is another video that I want to show you. There's so many different ones that are just like, all right, how about
Real
this?
quick, Sandra Edwards said she wasn't talking to you.
Okay, I had a feeling. Sandra's good peeps. I know usually who's talking to me and who's not. So here is a video, Tim Wall's campaign ad. Just we're on the topic of Minnesota, so we might as well hit it again. Here it is, folks. Once again, $49 shy of goal. Let's.
Welcome to Minnesota, where every moment is an adventure. From the tranquil natural beauty of our waters to the rich culture of our cities, Minnesota is where unforgettable memories are made.
Go inside now! Get in the house!
Step into friendly neighborhoods that make you feel right at home the moment you arrive. Stroll through vibrant streets, soak in the energy of our dynamic nightlife, or indulge in a shopping spree at one of our world-class boutiques. And behind it all is strong leadership and inclusive policies that create a place where everyone can thrive. Minnesota, we're ready to be your next adventure.
Good Lord.
That just posted on
That's
Facebook.
brutal. I love it.
Yeah, please go do me a favor and go and like that if you would not mind. I have a very foul-mouthed individual. This is not Cenk Uyghur's partner. Leeroy, you're more than just eye candy. We like your opinion and voice too.
Thank you so much.
Whatever.
A little self-deprecating humor, but I'm like,
It's very important to do so. It's very important to do so. Nice to see so many people throwing up likes on the show, and we appreciate you doing that. We have 143 people on. This is a little vulgar, so I apologize. This guy wants to communicate with you, and he wants you to feel what he has to say.
Right.
So please avoid the language. I'm sorry about this. I'm not trying to turn anyone off, but sometimes you want to show the completely unhinged left at their rawest moment. Here it is.
ICE is fucking disappearing people! 1,200 detainees at Alligator Alcatraz! Gone! Just gone! Thirds of the people they're fucking missing! No names, no records! Families are searching for their loved one! This fucking regime has nothing to say! You think this isn't fascism? Wake the fuck up! ICE held a 5-year-old girl with autism outside her home! Lure her father out! They fucking used her! A child! Our agent said, "Is this your girl? Come show your ID." What the fuck is this? Family is screaming, crying, begging. Give us back our daughter. These are fucking monsters. Racist fucks who prey on the vulnerable. Number 18, Knocking State 2.0. You're not going quiet. You want to erase innocent people? We will be louder. You want to tear families apart? We will stand stronger. This regime is out of fucking control, and if you're still silent, you are complicit.
Wow.
Okay. At least he didn't shoot anybody. You know, I mean, dude, you're gonna have
wearing a vest.
I don't. You're gonna have a stroke, bro. Like your blood pressure right now is pushing 220. Like you're going to pop. You guys, someone who has anger problems, who is doing really well. Let me explain something. I've been there, and it isn't good for your body. It's not good for your soul. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your brain. It is not a good idea to be that enraged. Leeroy, is civil discourse in this country just dead? I mean, is there any hope of getting back to some semblance of intellectualism?
I know what you mean. Yeah. I hope that there is. I hope that there's that opportunity for us to still trade ideas and, speak civilly to each other without everything getting violent. But when you see videos like that, I mean, is that seems like that's everyone's worst fear, right? When you have someone yelling in your face like that, and you're like, I get you have a point to make, bro, but I don't know, man. Like, can you have passion. I understand that. And I really think that quite often, um, that emotion that people have kept up, right? Um, is something that a political party tends to try to capitalize on. They focus on angry people, or they try to make you angry. We've spoken about this on the show before. If the media can control how you feel, then they can control how you vote. This is obviously an angry man, who's trying to make a point, and I just go from, man, you can go from having a peaceful conversation, sharing ideas. That's what step one. The moment you step into super angry, then really how far of a leap is it to go from super, super angry to I'm going to go and start committing acts of violence? That seems like it's a logical progression, does it not? I don't know, man. I don't. That's scary.
We've had comments. Someone said, "Hey, that's acting." No, it's not. Even as far as, okay, so someone can enrage like that and act, okay, but to yell like that, even if you're acting, your blood pressure's through the roof. I'm sorry.
God, yeah.
I've seen Lewis Black do it as a career, and Lewis Black will tell you, he's like, I don't get as angry as I am because I'm getting older and I'm just going to die. Like, I get pumped up, and a lot of it is my frustration, and you can't scream like that. You can't enrage like that without getting your BP up. I'm sorry. There's just, no, I disagree. It's not fake. These people are a lot of things. But here's an endearing moment. I did a video on this today, and it's JD Vance. And I really was impressed with this. And I just thought it was so cool to see him do this. And he was at an event, and he was talking to military, and this kid comes out, and he sees him, and he's talking to the press pool. By the way, folks, listen, we got to go right after this. So if we don't hit it, we're out of here either way. So we really don't want to have a night like this, but occasionally it happens. And, so if we got it in us, let's go. If not, we'll call it zero and move from the table.
Yeah.
Here's the last video with JD Vance. Let's hope we have a couple people out there that enjoy the show and want to help us out and hit goal. Here's the video.
Young man, this is a very earnest young man. He doesn't look like a journalist to me, but go ahead and shout out a question, because I'm not going to deny that level of energy and that level of passion. First of all, what's your name?
Henry.
Henry. It's good to meet you, Henry. Ask your question, please.
I skipped school today. I was wondering if I could get a picture with you.
Aw. What a sweet kid. Oh, yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
Henry said, I skipped school. Can I have a picture with you? Well, I guess you got to have some excuse to skip school, so I might as well get a photo with Henry.
Hell yeah. He's like, hold on, I got to get the...
I know, and he's pointing at him. Just watch the way he slaps his back. It's just, hey, Debbie, you had said earlier, if you said something, would I go off? No, I won't, as long as it's now. So if you want to say what you were going to say, I'll let you know. And if anybody wants to talk about why we left Wimkin, I'll tell you why. I've got no problem talking about it. Phone lines are open. You can call in. I'll put it up, and then we'll get Leeroy out of here either way. Here we go.
That's awesome. I really like JD.
He's growing on me a lot.
Yeah.
He was never growing on me in a bad way, but he's growing on a good way.
No, but it's fun to see him evolve, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. He's developing into a a likable guy, which is kind of sometimes been his little Magoo or dry, and now he seems to be a little bit funner. So I got a message, and I want to talk about it real quick, and then we're done. I got a message of Matt, and this is hard for me, so I'm just going to say it, and I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I completely understand. Matt essentially said, and I read it on my phone like 20 seconds ago, and I deleted it. And I'm not mad. Listen to me, not mad. But Matt, why would you give up that money and to put more burden on the fans? That's a really fair question. You know, it's a shitty question. I'm just going to say it's a shitty question. It's not one that's based in positive intent, but it's a good question. And so I'm going to answer it. Because some things are more important than money, and my integrity and my honor and the people I associate with are more important than the money. And if the show goes under for that, then so be it. And yeah, that's my integrity is not for sale. And I can just tell you this, as much as I hope you trust me, is that I would never dishonor you by surrounding myself by things that are morally questionable. I'll just put it that way. And the people who looked it up know what it is, and they know why. But I am a lawful man. I am an honorable man. I don't believe that anyone has the right to prey on people or take advantage of people in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not saying that was specifically, I wasn't there. I don't know, but I'm just not going to be a part of it. You understand what I'm saying? So so yeah, I mean, listen, it was a big chunk of change. Do you guys don't understand? This is a big amount of money for me. And we stepped away because it's not that important to us. So yeah, the viewer, if you guys can help out more, great. And if you can't, we'll figure it out. We're big boys and girls. We'll figure it out. But what I don't want is animosity towards me for making the right decision, because that is not going to make me happy, because you don't have the details. You don't know. You can go find out, and you can go do that. Okay. It's fair enough. Go ahead, Leeroy. You got it.
When you accept money from somebody, there is an element baked into that transaction that says, I'm giving you this money. And to some degree, it is either because we are in business in some way together, or or I'm endorsing your perspective, things like that. This was a relationship that I think needed to be severed. Thank you very much, Charity Lamb, who donated $10. This was a relationship that needed to come to an end, just based off of a difference, in an obvious difference in morals. And because of that, you do get to choose your friends. You get to choose who you do business with. We want everyone to come back and watch our channel. We hope that you understand our message. Thank you, Mike. And that you agree with it. Because of that, there was something about Wimpkin that we disagreed with, and we decided we're not going to do business with them anymore. Is that fair?
And let's be really clear. Wimpkin did amazing things and helped this show tremendously. Okay. And I had said that in the beginning of the show. I have said that in the other night, and we had all intents and purposes to stand behind them, even with the pay cut. We were okay with this. Isn't about money for us. Leeroy's had the behind the door conversations with me. We were completely fine to take $1,000 a month and say, we will stay as long as it takes to get you where you are. But then we found out some information that wasn't just what you're reading. There's other things that I cannot stand behind. I will not. I won't bring it into my house. I won't bring it into my home. And I am completely against it. And you can go dig and you can go find it, but you're scratch. If you think this is just about today's events or last week or week before, it's not. It is a cornucopia of poor choices that I don't want to be associated with. So we have to move on, but I am willing to continue the conversation. Leeroy, why don't you jump? I love you.
Yep.
I'll take it. And you get out of here.
Peace out, homies.
See you, buddy.
Everyone, thank you so much to everyone who donated today. Thank you to Damani for coming on. And you always bring not only the intellect, but the I love the banter that we have back and forth. You're an amazing man. Matt, thank you again. And I will see everyone next week.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Appreciate you, Bubba. See you, man. Thanks for tonight. So I will not trample people's. I'm not gonna trample people. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just telling you that there are things that I can't stand behind. That's it. And there are things that I don't know, but I've read that I cannot confirm, and those made an impact on my decision. There are things I know for certain that are admirable that have been done, and I stand behind fervently that the company did great things during J6 and held information away from the Senate Oversight Committee because they didn't want to give up people's privacy. That is noble, and it deserves accolades. And this company is doing amazing things with fentanyl, and this company has been good to my family and I. Those things are unequivocally, undeniably true. This is someone who I respect and love in a lot of ways, and have tried to do what I can, whether it be a Christmas gift or help out with audio equipment or just call them and say, I love you and I hope you're doing well. And that is all great. But there are things that have taken place that I cannot endorse and I cannot stand behind. I will not associate my show with. I just will not, because I don't believe in it. And I made these things, I tried to make these things very clear when I heard about it. And I sent a text and I said, hey, what is the intent and purpose of these bits of information that you're collecting? I didn't get a response back. And that silence to me is admission of what's been said. So as the people who are responsible inside that company have decided to take out their social media accounts and kind of disappear from the social media landscape and make themselves a little smaller, I've decided to shed that relationship and get bigger. And there's no vindictiveness, there's no anger, there's no upset. If that person needs something from me, I'm going to do it. If they need help from me, I'm going to do it. If they want to come on the show and talk about it, I'm going to do it. But I cannot associate myself with crime. I will not do it. I refuse. Okay? So, listen, you get the one thing you get with me is I'll always be straight. I'll always tell you the truth, tell you how I feel. And that's it. But I refuse to share it. I refuse to lambast people in the public square. There's no reason for that. The involvement that I've had is over, and I've told you why. As far as judgment on other people, I'm not going to cast judgment on other people. That's not my job. I just won't be associated with it. That's all. And if an explanation comes forth that I can understand, that I can agree with, that can counteract my feelings right now, I still won't move forward. I've made a decision. I stand by it, and that's it. Okay? Yeah, Sandra. Yeah, these are great comments. Yeah. Debbie, that has something to do with it. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty big thing. Mm-hmm. And then you put them all together, and then you have a picture of a lack of trust. That yeah. When trust is gone, what do you have? So that's it. Like I said, I will not speak ill of people because I have nothing ill to say. I wish them the absolute best, and I hope that the things that are struggling for them right now, that they get out of it. But what I'm not going to do is be a knowing, willing participant once I'm aware of what took place. You guys know my stance. You know how I feel about some of these things. Some of you know what it was. And I have fervently spoke out against it. And when somebody calls in and is on the phone, I'm like, hey, should we give out your phone number? Completely a joke. And obviously tongue in cheek. I've never doxed anybody. I don't do that. I'm not vindictive. When someone makes a death threat against me, I find out who they are. And I don't go and spread them all over the place. I simply go ahead and collect that information and give it to the right people. Kimberly, thank you for helping us hit goal. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Listen, that's it. I've made mistakes in my life. I've done stupid stuff, and I hold account to them. And I own them. And people should own their mistakes. And people should have boundaries and draw lines when they're like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. Okay? Are there any more questions? Because I'm here, and this is the last time we're talking about it. Because, you know, I've got a following over there, and I love those people, and I want them to stay there and flourish and love Wimkin. And I hope that you guys have accounts and you participate. The social platform is not the issue. So go have fun with it, because I enjoy my time over there. I don't plan on deleting my account. I may, but I don't really have any desire to do that. And it's a streaming platform. I might continue to stream over there. I don't know. But that's a whole nother decision and a whole nother conversation. I appreciate all of your endorsements, but we're going to talk about it. Yes, Kimberly, we hit goal. Thank you so much. Just because they cross the line does not mean you need to follow them. It's a moral call. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Okay? Are we good? Anybody else? I'm putting a timer on it. I'm going to put a timer on it. We've all done stupid things. I've done stupid things. I was accused of a, you know, excessively disciplining my child physically, which was a complete fabrication and lie. And the expungement and my honor and integrity remain intact. But when I was accused of it, I wouldn't want to be abandoned, right? I wouldn't want people to abandon me. But remember, this is an abandonment thing. This is, there was no contractual obligation. I wasn't in a contract. This was a verbal agreement. They had already 2 weeks ago decided that they couldn't afford to keep us on, and that was fine. And I said, hey, maybe what we can do is take 66% of this and take it down, and would that be enough for us to stick around? And the answer was yes. And I said, great, let's do it. And we'll stay around as long as we can. And a year from now, we'll circle back and say, hey, are you guys in a financial position to bring us up? And if the answer is yes, great. And then after some being contacted on a few things by people who made me aware of some things that I wasn't aware of, I started looking into things, and I just said no more. That's it. That's all you need to say. We trust you. Thank you, Tom. Matt, I bet I've done more stupid things than you have. I mean, maybe. But it shut me out once I canceled my monthly fee, so I need to find out. I don't know what to do. Okay, good. Are we all set? All right. Shirley says I got my likes back. Good. Loretta says I wish the best. All right, everybody. Thanks for a great night. It was so fun having Damani on. I love having him on. We got to get him on more than once a month or two. We have some other people set up to come onto the show. We'll let you know what that looks like. We have Dan Nunn from the Nunn Report coming on. He's coming on the 14th. Laura Logan is probably, she's trying to find some time, so hopefully we can get her on. And things are good. Did you see and/or play the Comey response to his indictment? Nope. I'm going to do it right now, and then we're going to leave. I promised you guys I would do that, so let me do it. You said it was on Instagram? That means it's going to be everywhere now. Oh, Comey. I'm sure it's like, this is a witch hunt. You know, we know what he's going to say. This is a rebel. Oh God. This is it's a witch hunt. This is all political theater. Yeah, this is Donald Trump's vengeance against me for him breaking the law and the impeachments that he did. You know, we know what's coming. Come on. All right, let's put this on here. Let's hear what this Yakel has to say.
I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump, but we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does. My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial.
Dude, you're so full of shit.
And keep the faith.
Let's have a trial. Good enough. Truer words have never been spoken. Right you are, sir. Let's have a trial. Let's do that. And you know what I want? I can't wait for Discovery. Very excited about it. Remember the people who said it when it happened? Well, we got a long way to go. Let's see what happens. And do I feel James Comey needs to be held accountable? Sure. Do I believe they weaponized the justice system against Donald Trump? Long before. We can go back to Obama. He weaponized the IRS. He weaponized the DOJ. Give me a break, people. We're going to play this game. Comey has some stuff to answer for, and he doesn't sound as strong as he's pretending to be. He sounds nervous. He doesn't want a trial. You notice when he said he was innocent, you see the tell as he looked down. Let's find out what happens. I want to see it happen. I want, you know what? Let's have a trial. He's innocent until proven guilty. But it's interesting that the man who you assumed was guilty and had to prove his innocence, you somehow feel it's unfair. I thought you cared about law and order. It's amazing. It's amazing. All right, everybody. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 o'clock. And please do me a favor real quick. Got a whole bunch of people. Go over to Facebook. I've got some videos there. Throw a like on them. Throw a share on them. We're trying to get some things to go viral, and that helps us grow. It helps us make money on Facebook, and that's what we're trying to do. We've got to supplement about $3,000 a month. So we're going to go find it. We're going to go work, and we're going to go put up more videos and put up more memes and write more stuff and try to continue to grow this channel. And we've been through worse. We'll get through it, and we're going to do it together. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 7 o'clock at night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts.
Bonnie, that was a very nice thing to say. Thank you so much. God bless you for your decision. When I can, I'll support your show. You take care of you first. We're going to be okay. We love you. We appreciate you. Good night.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.